Welcome into Melbourne Ballpark as we get set for game number 2 of this 4-game series. Michael Dixon, Ed Wyatt, the rest of our Sportscast Australia crew. And Ed, far and away the warmest day we've had in Altona this year. I'm not quite sure what that thing in the sky is.
I'm not sure either. We haven't seen it for a while. I'll tell you what, the wind is also greatly reduced from what we've seen throughout the year and last night. So potentially some long ball tonight. I'm not predicting it, but potentially.
We'll wait and see. It couldn't get much better for Melbourne pitching yesterday. No runs allowed. When Sydney did have chances, the Aces did a very good job of keeping the Blue Sox at bay.
We talked about that, didn't we, in the pregame yesterday, that idea of getting out to an early lead and then limiting what Sydney does at the plate. The Aces did that very well, ended up with a 4-0 win. Could have been a little bit more, arguably.
Yeah, I think you look at the quality of contact. It was fantastic. A lot of hard-hit balls. Think about that ball from Jared Dale that should have gone up the middle, did not. And if you're the Aces and you look at that run total, yeah, 4 could have been much more than that.
Yeah, it certainly could have been, but look, you're not going to argue. It's a 4-0 win. It's a 5th straight win over Sydney, putting the Aces in a good position to challenge those teams above them.
Well, let's transition to this Friday night, a fireworks Friday here at Melbourne Ballpark, and on the mound for the Aces, Randy Wynn. As advertised, pitched in the big leagues in June, and we thought we'd see about 60 pitches from him in start number 1. We saw exactly 60 pitches. He went 4 innings, gave up just the 1 run, and yet another ace in John Deeble's pocket.
Yeah, it's great to have a guy like him come in and bolster the pitching ranks. Always great when you've got a guy from the major leagues on your staff, and as the Aces go a little bit deeper into the season and hopefully towards the finals, great to have him pitching.
That's Ed Wyatt. I'm Michael Dixon, the rest of our Sportscast Australia crew, getting ready for game number 2 of this 4-game series, and it's right here on Aces TV. From Melbourne Ballpark, we get set for game number 2 of this 4-game series. It's the Melbourne Aces and the Sydney Blue Sox right here on Aces TV. A look above at this beautiful facility, one of the premier baseball facilities in the state of Victoria. Well, maybe the premier facility in the state of Victoria, one of the best, of course, in Australia. And once again, on this Fireworks Friday, people file in. Michael Dixon, Ed Wyatt, the rest of our Sportscast Australia crew. And it feels like for the first time, Ed, it's actually kind of warm up here in the booth. The temperature is up there. The sun is out. The wind doesn't really feel like it's much of a factor here tonight. So this feels like, for the first time in 2023-24, a night that is conducive to hitting.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. Good to see you again, Michael. Yeah, it's a beautiful night. It is a tad on the warm side, which we certainly are not going to complain about. You mentioned it is Fireworks Friday. It's also 25 degrees on our Vibrant Services weather, humidity 73%, so it is very humid. Wind last night was about 14 Ks, tonight just 5. So I think you're right. I think we may see some balls flying through the outfield. Fireworks Friday. We'd love to see some more fireworks from the Aces. 4-0 win last night, but as we mentioned in the pregame, could have been a much bigger score.
Well, Daryl George gets ready as they welcome folks into Melbourne Ballpark, expecting another big Friday night crowd like the one we saw last week against Adelaide. So yes, Ed, let's talk about that first game of the series last night. Kind of a strange game because Sydney had chances and the Blue Sox didn't score. 4th shutout for Sydney on offense. On the flip side, it's the 4th time the Aces have shut out the opposition. And Melbourne pitching did a great job, I thought, of tightroping through some issues early. And on the flip side, I think you could also probably argue it's the hardest we've seen the ball hit by the Aces in a single game this year, and yet they only had the 4 runs. So you keep doing what the Aces did last night, and you should be just fine in this series.
Yeah, the ball was hit very hard at a lot of Sydney players. You mentioned the pitching, 12 strikeouts in total, but 8 of them from that group of relievers that came on over the final 4 innings. So you look at manager Tony Harris there. He's a veteran manager in the ABL, 10 years, I think, in the league. He's handing his lineup in, which we'll get to in a bit. He's tweaked it slightly, as has John Deeble, but not nearly as much.
Let's meet the starting lineup for Melbourne. And again, As always, we do this defensively, so how we'll see them in the top of the first inning. Chris Burke returns to the lineup. Did not start yesterday, but he's the left fielder here tonight. So a change for the Aces, and Burke off the bench and into the game. Aaron Whitefield has been great all season long defensively in center field, and Whitey also with a 5-game hitting streak coming into play tonight. Jimmy Kerrigan's heating up 4 hits in his last 2 games, and he's in right field tonight. So Zion Bannister will get the night off defensively. Darryl George with Greg Bird also back in the defensive alignment, goes from first over to his traditional spot at third. Robbie Glendening putting together a fantastic season. Glendening is at shortstop. Jared Dale is the second baseman once again here tonight. So Dale's been one of the hottest hitters in the ABL, and he's once again there at second base. Greg Bird is at first, had the night off defensively, day-to-day with a nagging injury, but he's all right to resume full activity here tonight. And Mitch Edwards behind the plate. Edwards has been a great midseason pickup, began the year in Canberra, has been fantastic for the Aces for the last handful of rounds. It is indeed Zion Bannister, the DH, so a nod off for Zion defensively, a chance to get that swing dialed back in. And on the mound, Randy Wynn, who makes his second Melbourne Aces start. And last week, we asked John Diebel before the game, hey, how many pitches you looking for from Randy Wynn? He said, hopefully about 60. He threw exactly 60 pitches across 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And when you're looking for that debut, you're looking for that start, going to say, hey, we've got ourselves another ace in the hole, as we said in the pregame. Randy Wynn delivered that last week.
Absolutely. Great to have him on board. And I tell you what, it's funny what a win can do, Michael, because I was down watching batting practice, talking to a few of the guys. The mood was up. Every one of them was positive. Zion, who you see right there, said, I'm hitting the ball well. I'm just hitting it at people. I got to, so he's all positive. Chris Burke said he's feeling great. So everyone's really in a pretty good mood. We just want to keep it rolling here as the Aces push towards a finals spot.
Everyone's in a good mood in the Aces dugout. Everyone right there looks to be in a great mood as well. Summer finally upon us here in Melbourne. The sun is out. You don't see many jackets or blankets like we have throughout the season. It is finally a summer night at the ballpark.
He'll be hot.
Yeah, he will. That's the one guy who's regretting the heat and the humidity. But we're getting ready here for Game 2 of this 4-game series. Let's talk specifically about the season set. Dominated by Melbourne to this point. Another convincing win last night, 4-0. It was a game that never really felt like it was out of Melbourne's control, and they won all 5 games against Sydney. They pretty comfortably, scoreline-wise, won all 5 games against Sydney. Some of those games in Blacktown were closer than the score would have indicated, but yet another win against the Blue Sox, yet another multi-run win against the Blue Sox last night.
Yeah, 5-2, 4-1, 6-2, 6-2, and 4-0 last night. So you're right. Comfortable wins, although you're right. There were some things in there that could have made them a little bit closer. But sort of what we expected, I think, yesterday. I think we expected the Aces to win it. We expected the pitching to do well. Would have liked to see a few more runs pushed across, but as you said, ball was hit hard. Some bad luck. A ball hits a pitcher in the back and goes for an out. So some strange plays. I think we'll see a little bit more tonight.
We talked about this off the top last night. This was a big series for both teams for different reasons. For Melbourne, trying to close the gap and sneak into that top 2 so you can host a first-round playoff series. For Sydney, you've got to try and close that gap as the 5th team in the standings, chasing down Melbourne, the team in 4th. Now, with the win last night, the Aces are guaranteed to have the head-to-head tiebreaker with the Blue Sox, and with 11 games to go, Sydney now 5 games out of a playoff spot. At a certain point, the math just doesn't add up.
Yeah, very, very difficult. You're right, with that tiebreaker as well. That's going to make it very tough.
Now the Sydney lineup and the first pitch next. You're watching Aces TV. Well, as always on Fireworks Friday, the fireworks shoot off after the national anthem, and we are ready for Game 2 of this 4-game series. Sydney 10-19, Melbourne 15-14. Randy Wynn on the mound for the Aces, and he'll face a Sydney lineup that looks like this. And as Ed alluded to, it's a little bit different from what we saw yesterday. Jacob Robson and Mike Jarvis flip-flop 1 and 2. Justin Wiley's been scorching hot but held at bay last night. Second baseman batting third. DJ Artis, first time in his Blue Sox career without a hit, and he is cleaning up. Clayton Campbell has had a nice little run lately, and 1 for 3 yesterday. He's the first baseman batting fifth. Solomon McGuire as well, 5 for 7 in his last 2 games. He's elevated up to that 6th spot. Joe DeLuca hitting 7th. Zach Shepard batting 8th. Wyatt Hindry catching. And in the bottom of the first, we'll see Jeremy Atkinson. So that's the lineup for the Sydney Blue Sox. And Randy Wynn on the mound for the Aces. Second start for Melbourne. He pitched in the big leagues in June. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, 4 strikeouts in his debut. He went 9 up, 9 down in that start. So got through the first part of the Adelaide order, at least the first time through the Adelaide order without a blemish. Gave up the 1 run in the 4th inning, but we've already talked about it. They were hoping for 60 pitches from Randy Wynn. They got literally exactly 60 through 4 innings, so he was pretty efficient as well. You would imagine that they're hoping to see closer 75, maybe 80 pitches this evening, and that's right around where we've seen the Melbourne starters under John Diebel this year. So the table is set, and we are ready for game number 2. Jacob Robson, the center fielder, from the 2 spot up to the leadoff spot.
Interesting switch, isn't it? Just shifting your 1 and 2 batters.
Trying to get Jarvis back on track. He struggled lately, but first pitch home to Robson, and it is low. We're underway. It's a pretty customary 7:04 p.m. It really is a beautiful summer evening here in Altona. And for the first time all year, Ed and I have the window open, which is nice. It's warm enough.
And the wind,
is not
nearly,
much of a yes.
Normally,
Nice.
our stat sheets are blowing all over the place, so we have to keep it shut. Not tonight.
Robson batting .213 on the year. Ex-major leaguer on a ground ball. Right back up the middle, leadoff single here in the first.
Tony Harris is a genius, right? Switches the top 2 hitters, they lead off with a hit.
Well, you're looking for that catalyst. And
Yep.
Robson with the leadoff single last night had a couple of walks, reached 3 times, and they're trying to get this guy back on track. Mike Jarvis,
Yep.
shortstop, batting second, a .218 batter, but got off to a good start. Hasn't been very good lately. 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts leading off last night, and also hitting just 173 away from Blacktown. Tries a bunt. Good one. Darryl George, bare hand pick, throw to first, not in time. Back-to-back singles
bunt
for Robson and Jarvis.
That is a superb bunt. We'll get a look at it. We talked about how good the bunting was in the Adelaide series. And this is another. And we saw in batting practice both teams working on the bunting here. It's an artificial infield, although it's dirt around home plate. We'll get a look at here. Jarvis lays that down beautifully, and George charges bare hands but can't make the play.
Well, for Jarvis now just 3 for 19 against the Aces, but when you're struggling, every hit has to feel good. I was wondering about Wiley laying down a bunt as well with the first 2 on, nobody out, especially for a Sydney offense that is struggling.
Yep.
Fewest runs scored in the league, worst batting average, worst on base percentage, worst OPS, and not just worst in the league, on pace to be the worst we've ever seen in the ABL. So this offense really does have to turn things around and do it quickly. Entering play tonight, 5 games behind Melbourne for that 4th and final playoff spot. Only 11 games left, and Melbourne has the head-to-head tiebreaker. And just like that, with a big breaking ball win ahead of Wiley, 0-2. Well, Wiley has reached in all 8 games that he's played this season. Had a 7-game hitting streak snapped yesterday, but comes in with a gaudy .483 average for the Blue Sox. And that was after going 0 for 3 last night. Leads off a breaking ball in the dirt. Here with 2 on, nobody out in the top of the first.
Yeah, it's just a start that Sydney would want to get off to, that's for sure. 2 hits to lead off with.
We said this yesterday. You know Wiley would probably cool down at a certain point, and there's a decent chance he does it in this series. That's what the law of averages tells us. But still, you'd never really want to face a guy who carries numbers into a series like Wiley carried into last night. And here he's worked the count even 2-2.
Yeah, tough night last night, 0 for 3, as you mentioned, a walk and 2 strikeouts.
A couple of softly hit singles against Randy Wynn to start tonight's game. Single from Robson up the middle, bunt single from Jarvis. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And this is low, ball 3. Wynn playing with some fire here in the first inning. Well, Sydney was a pesky lineup yesterday, and a good friend of the broadcast, Stewart, told us that at least asked me to do a little bit of digging, so I did. And this is ripped foul. I think he swung at ball 4, but
it looked like it
missed it by a ton. So we'll do it again, 3 balls and 2 strikes. In the shutout win yesterday, Melbourne actually tossed 173 total pitches. It's the most pitches thrown by an Aces pitching staff in a shutout in franchise history.
Wow.
Previous tie was 170, before that 155. So 173 total pitches thrown by the Aces to shut the Blue Sox out yesterday, the most we've seen in a shutout victory. And coincidentally now, the 3 highest pitch totals for shutouts in Aces history have come against Sydney at this ballpark. Here's a wave and a miss and a big strikeout for Randy Wynn on a fastball up the outside corner. So Justin Wiley is down on strikes for the 3rd time in this series. That's a huge strikeout for Randy Wynn. There's one away here in the first.
Yeah, huge strikeout. Disappointing at-bat from Wiley if you're a Blue Sox fan right there. Missed on the bunt, and then, as you mentioned, probably swung at ball 4 and then strikes out meekly there.
Well, DJ Artis stands in. 2 on, 1 out. And Wynn steps off. Artis hit safely in each of his first 8 games. What was held at bay yesterday, 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Still hitting north of 300 though at 310. Former Cubs farmhand. And he rips this into right field. That is down for a base hit. Kerrigan cuts it off. Here comes Robson. He scores without a throw, and it's a first inning run for Sydney. First Sydney run in this series. The Blue Sox strike first in game 2.
Good piece of hitting there from Artis. 3 quick hits here in the first inning. Not how Wynn wanted to start, and you got to give Tony Harris, manager of the Blue Sox, some props for switching that lineup around. It's paid off in the first 4 at-bats.
For Artis, now hits in 9 of his first 10 games. That only his 2nd RBI. Again, the Blue Sox don't score very often, so it's not like there are a ton of RBIs to go around. But Artis comes through, and the Blue Sox strike for a run here in the first inning. Here's Clayton Campbell. 1 for 3 yesterday. This young ball player from New Zealand had a good start to the year, but really struggled in the month of December. Just 130 in the calendar month with a batting average. Comes in hitting just a .156. RBI single from Artis has the Blue Sox on top 1-0. Just underway in game 2. Melbourne won last night 4-1. And now Randy went ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, for Randy Wynn in that first start, went 9 up, 9 down, so he breezed through the first 3 innings. But then gave up a couple of hits in the 4th. Both were doubles. And that hit by Artis, the first for a lefty against Wynn this season. Beg your pardon, 2nd. Robson had 1 earlier in this inning. Here's the 1-2. Popped him up.
Playable.
It should be the infield fly rule. It is. So the batter's out. Bird makes the catch anyways. 2 on, 2 out. Here comes Solomon McGuire. And I think if you're Randy Wynn, give up the 1 run in this first inning, but you're all right with just that. So this becomes an important batter to face.
Yeah, particularly because the Blue Sox don't score that many runs, and the Aces should be able to put some runs across the board. So you're right. Get out of this with 1 run, not the worst thing in the world.
Well, in the pregame staff meeting, they said, looking at decent Friday crowd, I'd said it's better than decent.
Yeah.
There's quite a few folks back then on that first base side, and I would imagine there are a lot of folks who decided with the weather to come out and enjoy a Friday night at the ballpark. McGuire takes strike 1 at the knees.
Yeah, going to be a great night because it does cool down here a little bit, so it won't cool that much. It'll be in that, over 22, something like that, with a nice breeze. Should be great.
Well, McGuire's been hot. 5 for 7 in his last 2 games. Had a couple of hits yesterday, and as a result, he goes from the 8th spot up to the 6th spot. Again, Tony Harris just trying to figure out something to get his offense on track. The midnight hour approaching. Again, still mathematically alive, and will be alive for quite a few games, but you look at where the Aces are, where the Blue Sox are, where the tiebreaker is, and Sydney has got, you would think, to win these final 3 games.
Yeah, I think you're right.
2 strikes and 2 outs. Fans here at Melbourne Ballpark looking for some free popcorn. And they got it. Swing and a miss from McGuire. And job well done by Randy Wynn. First 2 batters reach. He gives up the 1 run. Limits it to 1, and we go to the bottom of the first. Sydney take a 1-0 lead.
At the Sporting Globe, we're a little different to other pubs and bars. We have more than just cooks, we have chefs. We have more than bar service, we have table service. We have more than specials, we have specialties. We have more than live sporting events, we have atmosphere. And we have more than customers, we have fans. It's more than a sports bar, it's a Sporting Globe.
Well, Melbourne Aces baseball, primarily powered by these big crowds we keep seeing. I'll start with that, but also by Business Network International, BNI International, flourishing across Melbourne's West and Geelong. Local businesses, including the Aces, join BNI for your professional development, networking opportunities, and to increase business prospects. Find your local BNI chapter to tap a wealth of resources and join a winning team. The Aces with the win yesterday, a winning team once again, 15-14, back above 500. 5-0 against Sydney. But the Blue Sox with a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the first.
It's an impeccable segue from you, Michael Dixon. Absolutely brilliant. Jeremy Atkinson on the mound for the Blue Sox, 33-year-old Australian, came over from Brisbane. It's his 4th ABL season. Started way back in 2010, then took a long time off. Didn't play again until 2020. He's only made 18 appearances in that time.
I think he's one of the stranger stories in the ABL for a guy who has been around for a long, long time, but not the way you would think.
Exactly.
So here he is pitching for the Blue Sox, his first start in Sydney Gray. Began the year with Brisbane, faced Adelaide, deal strike 1 to Aaron Whitefield, leading things off, and then didn't pitch again until he faced Brisbane last week.
Very strange.
And that was 3 1/3 relief innings. He's been playing club ball for a while. And this time he misses away to Aaron Whitefield. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Whitey's got a 5-game hitting streak. That's his longest hitting streak of the season. RBI single from DJ Artis has Sydney on the board. And Melbourne hitting for the first time against Atkinson tonight. We'll see how deep Atkinson can go. Good news for Tony Harris. He only used 2 relievers yesterday, the lefty Asado and the righty Cole. And Whitefield fouls this back, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wanted to tell you, that I spoke to Aaron after the game, and I asked him if he was aware that he makes all 3 catches in an inning, and he said, actually, yeah. After the second catch, I told Kerrigan in left, I'm running after this one wherever it goes.
That's great.
And he ended up making that third and final catch.
That's fantastic. The hat trick.
Such a nice guy on right field.
What a fielder he is.
He really is a big league defensive center fielder. Soft ground ball over to short. Jarvis has to hurry, but that is a smooth play for out number 1.
Yeah, that was very slowly hit. You got to get rid of that quickly. Jarvis did that very well.
So 1 out. Daryl George next for Melbourne.
I will say, and I've said this before, that shortstop, the infield play in the ABL this year has been the one.
Really has,
what we've seen here has been great. Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane, the Aces. Now tonight, just been really smooth for the most part.
Well, Daryl tied for 9th in the league with 9 extra base hits. There's a logjam of players who are looking for that 10th extra base hit. We thought he might have it in the first inning yesterday. It was the first of 3 consecutive singles. The Aces did score the first inning yesterday, but the bases loaded, 1 out, required a walk from Jared Dale, eventually with 2 down. Daryl George went the other way into the right center field gap, dropped in between Robson and McGuire. It's a long single for Daryl. The wind was blowing pretty stiffly in yesterday.
Very much so.
It was a graveyard out in center field and especially into the gaps.
Yep.
Don't think we'll see the same thing here this evening. Temperatures are warmer, the wind a little bit lighter. Still blowing, you can still feel it, but not nearly as significant as it was last night. And this well struck left field. Artis into the gap, Robson there. The center fielder will run it down. George just got under that. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
He did. It didn't have that home run feel off the bat, did it?
Yeah, just missed it. 2 outs. Here comes Robbie Glendenning, who's having, I think, quietly one of the best seasons in the ABL.
I'm not sure it's quietly anymore, Michael, to be honest.
Well, he does have now a 12-game on-base streak. Tied for 7th, 4 homers, tied for 5th, 17 RBIs. 3rd in on-base, 6th in slugging, 4th in OPS.
Playing
Leads
a great
the league
field.
with 23 walks. Yeah, that doesn't even begin to touch what he's done defensively. Hitting .350 over his current 12-game on-base streak. Must have been what I said yesterday. Incorrectly labeled it as 13 straight, but for Robbie, it's 12 straight. It's the 3rd longest active streak in the ABL, and it's the longest on-base streak for Melbourne Ace this season.
You didn't get called out on Facebook by that, did you?
I didn't actually.
Okay. All right.
That was just me going back to check because I thought I had that wrong after the game, and sure enough, I did.
Self-correcting is good.
Yep. 0-2. And he pounds this foul.
We certainly don't mind people correcting us on Facebook if we say something wrong. Got no problem with that at all, as long as it's done in good spirit, right?
There was it still is a very popular American sports talk show on ESPN called Pardon the Interruption with Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser, and they wrap up each and every show with errors.
I love that.
And it's the mistakes that they made on the air that are fact-checked. And it's always the best part of the show.
So we should have a fact checker here every inning.
Post-game,
Come back from the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
You know that time, Ed, what you said, that was completely wrong.
That was wrong. It's 12 for Robbie, not 13.
We don't want a fact checker.
Well, Atkinson looking for a 1-2-3 first. And he throws this outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There really isn't much out there on Jeremy Atkinson, as you and I learned looking up some stuff on this right-hander. But I did find that he pitched collegiately at Salt Lake Community College and had been playing club baseball in Queensland.
Right.
Now 33 years of age. And that's about it. High chopper, left side. Grab chest high by Shepard, and a clean first for Jeremy Atkinson. We go to the 2nd inning. 1-0 Sydney from Melbourne Ballpark.
Oh, we've been there for every game. One Love is there for the moments with the people you love the most. To share the highs and the lows together. It's the one for all people, all times, and all places. Brick Lane's One Love Pale Ale. It's the one for all.
At U Blinds Australia, it's our great low prices that make the difference. In our end of summer Aloha clearance sale, save from 30% up to 50% off our range of blinds, shutters and awnings. U Blinds Australia, more value for you.
All smiles here at Melbourne Ballpark on this gorgeous Friday evening. A warm and sunny summer night here in Altona. Fans packing that first base general admission area. And Randy Wynn back to work. 26 degrees currently at the ballpark. Have plenty of sunshine. Sunglasses on the head of that young lady. Mine are on my face, as they often are in their prescription sunglasses, which means it's like the 8th inning and it's dark and I've forgotten to take them off. And I probably look like a fool. But it's better that way because they hide more of my face. So I always get more looks with the sunglasses on than I do off. We go to the second, 1-0. Sydney on top through an RBI single from DJ Artis to Luca, Shepard, and Hendry coming through. And this should be a first pitch out. Kerrigan underneath makes the catch. And DeLuca quickly gone here to start the second.
Yeah, if you come to the ballpark, the first base line is pretty much in the shade. It's the third base stands that are in the sun. So the sunglasses will get a workout on the third base line, but not so much on the first base line.
Well, here comes Zach Shepard. Batting right on that Mendoza line, 200 with the average. 3 strikeouts yesterday. Unfortunately, that's been a trend for him with 12 strikeouts in his last 6.
Whew.
And he takes strike 1 here from Randy Wynn, who has now retired 3 in a row after the RBI single from Artis in the first. Shepard, the former Australian Youth Baseball Player of the Year in 2011. In fact, I was on a podcast earlier today. A guy by the name of John Schrader, who's a longtime media type, play-by-play, podcasting, anchoring, whatever it might be, the West Coast, also from Nebraska. He came through Nebraska as a professor after I left school in 2017. And he was asking me on the podcast about my experience here and baseball in Australia. And he asked, what keeps baseball in Australia going? Is it the imports or is it the folks who play baseball in Australia? And I said, make no mistake, it is absolutely the Australian players who continue this tradition. Guys like Zach Shepard, who reaches here on a strikeout wild pitch. So tough break for Randy Wynn, but Zach Shepard came through the Australian system and had a chance with the Tigers. Spent a long time in the Detroit system, and there are so many players who keep baseball in this country, not just alive and well, but growing, it feels like, each and every day. And so when you have guys like Zach Shepard who go play almost 550 professional games in the USA and come back, the experience that he has and what he's given to baseball in Australia, that is why we're able to do things like what we're doing here tonight, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we've talked about it's a great combination, the league, of players from around the world. But you're right, it is those homegrown guys that keep it going.
1 strike and 1 out. 3 strikeouts now for Wynn. Wyatt Hendry, the batter, 0 for 2 with a walk. 177 on the average. That batting average has not been north of 200 since November 26th. So he has been fighting it significantly from the bottom of the order. Got up to a great start like a lot of these Blue Sox did. Remember, they won their first series 3-1, but
they've kind of done the opposite of everyone else, haven't they? Others sort of started slowly in terms of hitting. Adelaide obviously started quickly, but we talked about hitters struggling a little bit.
Ground ball to third, could be 2. George goes to second for 1. Throw to first, and a 5-4-3 double play. So Shepard reaches on the strikeout wild pitch, but Randy Wynn still needs just 3 outs to get through the top of the second. We go to the bottom half, 1-0 Sydney. Well, Dasher and Fisher beginning in 2017 with a vision in to specialize in gins that speak of place and express Tasmania's remoteness and untouched beauty. Taste the rich, fertile soils and pure cradle mountain snowmelt in every drop of Dasher and Fisher Tasmanian gin. Big crowd filing in on this Friday night in Altona. Sydney with a 1-0 lead. We go to the bottom of the first inning, and 3 up, 3 down for, bottom of the second. 3 up, 3 down for Jeremy Atkinson, who had a couple of ground ball outs. Was a loud fly out there from Darryl George in the first, but he'll face Kerrigan, Bird, and Dale. And for the most part, the big righty looked in control in that first inning.
Yeah, he did. Looked very comfortable. And now we'll see what he can do against Kerrigan, Bird, and Jared Dale. 3 dangerous hitters here.
Kerrigan with hits in consecutive games after he went 0 for in his first 3 games. So had 3 hits on Sunday and 1 hit yesterday. Average up to 235.
He's a strong man. Watched him in batting practice. He's a big guy, powerfully built, and really hit.
And he lines this down the left field line. That drops for a base hit. Rolls into the corner. Kerrigan around first. And he is into second, standing up. A 3-game hitting streak for Jimmy Kerrigan, and he looks very much the part in the middle of the order.
What I say, powerful guy can really hit it. There we go. Making me look good. Jimmy.
It's not hard to do, Ed. You've got very good hair.
Bang.
That's his first extra base hit, and a chance here for the league's RBI leader, Greg Bird.
Great piece in The Athletic on Greg Bird. If you subscribe to that or can track it down, really nice on what he's getting out of Australia and just his general mindset on life. We're talking about going back to his old high school in Colorado and teaching Colorado kids how to swing the bat. Just a really nice piece on a good guy.
If you've been around Greg Bird, you know it's no surprise that he enjoys talking to people about hitting, because that's pretty much all he does, right?
That is true. We've seen it here, and then to read in that article about him doing it back at high school in Colorado was really interesting.
Greg Bird leads the league in both homers and RBIs, 7 and 29 respectively coming in.
Might lead the league in number of times people ask him for hitting advice as well, because I know a lot of the younger guys keen to pick his brain.
Well, think about these young development players too, who play club ball around here, and the opportunity they get to talk to a guy like Greg Bird. Good count for him, 2-0. Tying run at second. And now Hendry and Atkinson have to get on the same page. So Greg Bird leading the league in homers and RBIs. The last time an ace led the league in both homers and RBIs, 2019-2020, that was Delman Young.
Yeah.
Young, actually, that year, 13 homers, 42 RBIs. He tied the all-time franchise record with 42 RBIs. Elliot Biddle did that all the way back in 2011-2012. So Biddle and Young, the 2 aces with 42 RBIs in a single season. Greg Bird is just behind that pace. This is game number 30, and he's got 29 RBIs. And this is crossed deep right center. McGuire back, looks up, and there's number 8.
Well, he's got a sweet swing. He works hard at it. He's got the power, and that was all on display there, Michael.
He's inevitable. His league-leading 8th home run, RBIs 30 and 31. And the Aces take a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the second inning. Just sounds different coming off his bat, doesn't it?
He's got such a sweet swing. And when he connects like that, you know it's gone.
Jared Dale scorching hot with 5 multi-hit games in his last 7. And ahead here 2-0. So Atkinson 3 up, 3 down in the first, but has gotten himself into trouble in the second. Leadoff double to Kerrigan and a 2-run home run yielded to Greg Bird. The Aces entered this round leading the league with 27 home runs as a team. Did not homer yesterday, but Adelaide with a couple took the lead 28. And that home run from Greg Bird, the 28th for the Aces this season, so momentarily back in a tie with the Giants, and it traveled 370 feet out there to right center field, just below the Dick Johnson Racing sign. But he has made a living beyond the fence here at Melbourne Ballpark. And Jared Dale just gets under this. Colin Robson, no trouble whatsoever, one down.
We have to replay that pregame where didn't I say we might see some long ball tonight? I said I wasn't predicting it, but I had a feeling we might see it.
Well, I didn't want to say anything because you don't want to be that guy that everyone lays the jinx on. But when I mentioned that Greg Bird was just behind that single-season RBI record pace, I was kind of trying to nudge him forward.
Well, we had a feeling.
Kick-started once again, and sure enough, he's back on pace. Chris Burt, first plate appearance out of the series, and first pitch swinging. Shepard from foul ground at third makes the catch.
I think it's Halen Burke trying to follow the lead of Greg Bird, swinging at those. Why not?
Well, it's a Greg Bird home run. There's another look at it. You can't leave that pitch over the outside part of the plate.
Watch this swing. Thing of beauty.
He knew it.
Look at this. I just love watching him swing. That's a big league swing.
And it's a big league reaction, too. That's a guy who's hit a home run or two in his career.
Yeah, well, true.
First pitch on the outside corner to Edwards.
Might take a photo of that, go back to that athletic piece and do a little reply to the author and just say, here's from today.
Edwards has been really good at this ballpark in 2023-24, 7 for 16 coming in. Helped, of course, yesterday, 2 for 4 with a run scored. He has been swinging a hot bat, and the hits haven't been cheap either. He has been barreling up just about everything he's seen, it feels like.
Yeah, he has.
2-run home run from Greg Bird. And a 2-1 lead for the Aces here in the second inning. It was a problem for Atkinson, too, in his first start against Adelaide. He went 7 innings, gave up the 4 runs, but a couple of home runs yielded. And that round 1 series for Brisbane against Adelaide. This time he just misses high. By the way, Kingo Iwashita behind the plate tonight. Jeffrey Dunn over at first, Casey Cook at second, and Kenichi Umeki at third. We'll count 2 outs to Edwards. Zion Bannister looming on deck. And Randy Wynn will pitch with the lead when he comes back to the mound in the third. The payoff pitch once again. That's lined over to short, but caught by Jarvis, and the inning is over. The damage done. 2-run home run from Greg Bird, his 8th of the year. And the Aces take a 2-1 lead to the third.
Light and Easy have been named Best Healthy Meal Delivery Service again, but you won't find us stopping to celebrate. We're busy making it easy for Aussies to achieve their well-being goals, and the results speak for themselves. Light and Easy, just good food and great results.
Aussie gardeners are best served by Aussie tools, built specifically for our unique environment and conditions. Back in the 1890s, Leonard Chambers and William Thompson started a beekeeping supply business in Melbourne. Little would they know that their company would go on to change how Australians garden for well over a century. Cyclone is ingrained into our country's history and our way of life. Our tools are long-lasting and purpose-built for hard work.
We've been making quality tools for over a century.
They last that long, you can hand them down to the next generation. Good, quality, honest product that the Australian people have grown to love.
It's not an Aussie shed without a cyclone.
My biggest takeaway of being here for 34 years is just sense of pride in the product.
Australians buy good products. So if they keep on buying, we keep on making, so we're here.
Cyclone Tools, made for Australians.
Well, there's a look from above at the full complex, and that dirt field you see, the infield you see near the train tracks, is a new addition with Hanwha coming to town. Again, we've talked about this a lot, but you can see Team Australia in action for the first time since 2017 in Melbourne against Hanwha. The Eagles will be here for their entire spring training. Those two games, the International Baseball Showdown, the 17th and 18th, not Valentine's Day, as Ed told us, but that infield built specifically for Hanwha. First pitch swinging down the left field line, and Burt gives chase into the corner. Robson hit it well, but there's one out here in the third. Anyways, that'll be not just a great two games, but the fact that the Hanwha Eagles are making their spring training home here in Melbourne for the upcoming year is a huge add for baseball in Victoria as a whole.
It is, and having that extra field back there is also fantastic for any number of reasons. Absolutely great. That shot from Robson, by the way, I think it was right on the line. It might have been a fair ball if Burke hadn't been able to get to it.
Just off the end of the bat, he is now 1 for 2. He singled and scored in that first inning. Greg Bird has given the Aces a 2-1 lead with his 8th home run. And Jarvis takes a strike called by our home plate umpire, Kingo Iwashita. That was quite emphatic, might I add. Now the 0-1.
It was Mike Jarvis, who used to be coach of the Boston University basketball team. And I knew a guy named Mike Jarvis I worked with in L.A., bit of a lunatic, later became the mayor of, I think, Mammoth, California. I don't know how he ever got elected, I'll be honest with you, but no relation to this Mike Jarvis here.
That reminds me that when you look up Jeremy Atkinson on Google and you're trying to find anything you can, you're more likely to come across a guy running for office than you are Jeremy Atkinson's baseball career.
Yeah, you do.
There are like a guy in Canberra or something. I don't know.
Well, the guys you can type in, and then the ones you have to put baseball at the end of it. He's one of those. Jeremy Atkinson, baseball, and then it comes up.
He's pitched well this year, made one mistake, and Greg Bird made him pay. And the Aces have a 2-1 lead. Mike Jarvis 1 for 1 with a bunt single. First two Blue Sox reached in that first inning, but he said it then, and I'll say it again. Job well done by Randy Wen to keep it to just the one run on the single from Artis.
Yep, we did say that at the time. You did, and that's absolutely right.
Two runs on a couple of hits, both extra base hits for the Aces. 1 for 3 on Sydney's side of things. And there's a breaking ball fouled off by Jarvis. We'll do it again. Jarvis, that single in the first, only his third in the season set. And not many hits for him away from Sydney. Just a 173 batter away from home coming in. And he grounds this off the mound, up the middle, tough play, knocked down by Jared Dale, but that's all he can do. It took a funny bounce, I think, off the dirt cutout near the bag. Glendening and Dale both heading up the middle to try and make a play on it, but that's a couple of base hits for Jarvis. That'll feel good for him. And another look at this.
There it is. You can see it sort of hits and bounces through there. And look, again, credit to Tony Harris. He swapped things around, as you said, to get Jarvis going. Well, he's got him going. 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats.
And Jarvis has been much better against righties this year as well. So a couple of hits against Wen, neither of which have left the infield, but he'll take both of them. 4th hit allowed by Randy. Quite frankly, all 4 hits weren't necessarily hard hit.
No.
The Artis single down the right field line was just one he fought off.
But as we say, when you look at the scorebook, can't tell.
No pictures on the scorecard, as they say in golf.
Correct.
Except in the era of StatCast, where there are a lot of pictures of every hit.
Yeah,
of course, we don't have that benefit here, but you sure do in the major leagues.
Or if you're keeping score like my friend Bill Nye, the science guy, and you're writing hard hit or soft hit, things like that, which some people do.
In the air, right center, playable for Whitefield. 2 down. Wiley retired. He's 0 for 5 in this series. Here comes DJ Artis, RBI single in that first inning.
Yeah, they've been able to shut Wiley down for sure.
You know, some people who don't know you might think, oh, he's just name-dropping Bill Nye, the science guy. Until today, you showed me a video of you and Bill Nye doing some sort of skit together long before he became the science guy.
Yeah,
correct?
well, he did his science guy shtick on our show, and Bill and I were good friends. We had Mariner season tickets together. Used to go to Mariner games with Bill. We had the small, like 10, 12 games a year package. Yeah. And also our station broadcast games, so we get some freebies occasionally. And I had a friend who was a PR manager for the Mariners, so always good. I didn't abuse it, but every now and then hey, can I grab a couple, Pete? No problem.
I'll tell you what, those big league comp tickets are pretty nice, too.
Oh, yeah. We used to sit right down near the players' wives.
Yep.
And that's when I had to tell Bill Nye, keep it down. That's Edgar's wife over there. Stop it. Because he was very loud and vociferous in his criticism.
How do you criticize Martinez?
I was going to say, I used the wrong references. The ball gets away from Edwards. And
like the greatest hitter of all time.
Yeah, that's the wrong one. It would be like Jim Presley or someone like that.
Maybe Richie Sexton? Or was that after?
That was after, yeah.
Those are the Mariners I grew up with when I would go to games and became a big fan.
You were a little later. I was there in the Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, that era. Omar Vizquel.
There we go.
Tough
Ground ball
play.
over to first. Bird makes it look easy. Foot race, and he is out. Artis turns around. He thought he was safe, but Randy Wen wins the foot race, and the inning comes to an end. No runs, a hit, 1 man left, and we get one more look. Nice play by Bird. Oh, I don't know about it.
I think he's safe.
The Aces will take it. We go to the bottom of the third.
All-Star Access Hire are your access equipment specialists. We have an extensive range of state-of-the-art equipment and we pride ourselves on delivering outstanding customer service. We have the youngest fleet of equipment in Victoria and we are consistently adding new machines. We get to know our customers and form partnerships with them. This video is of our partnership with the Victorian Government at Reservoir Station. All-Star Access Hire are proud sponsors of the Melbourne Aces and our All-Star Bar.
Gorgeous night at Melbourne Ballpark. We go to the bottom of the third. Comfortable for everybody except for Mav. I'm sure he's sweating a lot under that suit. But a great evening for a cool beverage, adult beverage, soft drink, whatever your choice of drink is. Got to keep that plate clean. Good work done by home plate umpire Kingo Iwashita. Bannister, Whitefield, George, 8-9, 1-2 coming through here in the bottom of the third. 2-1, the Aces on top. Greg Bird with a 2-run home run to give the Aces a lead in the bottom of the second. So those guys look on.
If you go to umpire school, is that part of it? Do they teach you how to brush the plate, or is that just something you pick up on your own? They bring in a guy to show it to them. Got to bring in the best brusher in the world.
Here's how you do it.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, when I first took a job golf caddying, here's Zion Bannister DHing leading off. I had learned from a guy who I worked at a golf course with previously on how to rake a bunker.
Oh.
This is inside the band, 2 balls and no strikes. And he was very adamant on how you rake the bunker. And so when I got to the golf course to caddy for the first day, and I was very adamant, the caddy in training was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to rake the bunker properly," as one of my caddy friends told me. He's like, "Just break it and put it down and let's go." I said, "All right." So I don't know if that's what they do in umpire school, but
that's great. I could see you there, like very earnest. I'm going to do this the right way.
It was.
Move on.
It was forward and then back. Forward and then back. Here's the 2-1. Inside again, very similar pitch, and Bannister's had to now dodge a couple of fastballs inside from Atkinson.
Showing bunt that time, interesting, on a 2-1 pitch.
Actually, not sure that was a fastball. Looked more like a slider of sorts. Don't really know the repertoire for Atkinson. This is hit deep right field, and that ball is gone. Zion Bannister with his third of the season. His second against Sydney, and no doubt about it, off the flagpole out there right. And the Aces have a 3-1 lead.
I'm so happy for him. I was chatting with him before the game. He said he was feeling good. Mentioned he'd hit a couple yesterday that could have been hits that weren't. And here we go, puts one over the fence. Really great stuff from Zion.
Well, Atkinson has given up 3 hits tonight. All 3 of them have gone for extra bases. A couple of home runs. Zion with his third, no doubt about it. And the Aces with number 29 this season. 3 homers, 11 RBIs for Banny. And that big 3-run homer against the Aces, or against the Blue Sox for the Aces a few weeks ago.
I am so happy for him, Michael. He's been working hard. A couple of breaks here and there needed. He just met that one. Flew over the right field fence.
Rounded over to first. Nice play. Here's a foot race. Another challenge for Jeffrey Dunn. And he's 2 for 2 now on calling runners out. So Whitefield beaten by Campbell. We'll get another look. I think the Aces caught a break to end the top half of this inning. And another close one, tough to tell. I wonder if in the back of his mind, Jeffrey Dunn, with a couple of bang-bang plays in quick succession, said, got to stay consistent, right?
That one looked like a tie goes to the runner to me. But, hey, it's a tough job. We're not doing it. So
358 for Banny on that home run.
I think it hit the pole out there,
it
too.
It did,
yeah,
absolutely
it
hit the pole.
Australian flag, that green and gold flag. That should get an extra run just for hitting that.
George grounds this foul. 2 home runs allowed by Atkinson. He allowed the 2 against Adelaide in round 1. His only other start of the year. That was when he was still with Brisbane. And in both cases tonight, he has given up a home run to a left-handed hitting batter, Bird in the second, Bannister here in the third, and he's fallen behind in the count both times as well. So clearly, the Aces are all over him from the left side when they have a chance to be aggressive. Darrell pops this up and out of play. We'll do it again, 0-2. 1 out, 1 in on the Zion Bannister home run. The Aces have a 3-1 lead on a Friday night here in Altona.
There is Zion Bannister having a well-deserved drink of Gatorade.
He was the only ace without a hit yesterday, and answers the bell with his 3rd home run here tonight.
Let's explain it here. This is how I did it. I just met it right there, and boom, next thing you know, it's over the fence.
See ball, hit ball. Darrell, with a loud fly out in the first inning, just got under it out to left center field where Robson ran it down. We know the Aces can hit for power. The question has been batted ball luck. And a stat that was kind of taboo 10 years ago. This down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It's back there. And this ball is foul. Only just. Boy, Darrell with his trot down the first base line. He thought he had one. Big smile on his face as he walks back down to pick up his bat. And that was a titanic shot. But
just slightly ahead of it, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, get a look at it now.
Can't make that mistake. Boy, Atkinson is.
It was hard for me to see, but then I saw the left fielder, Artis, kind of waving. He knew it was foul at that point.
And this time, a ground ball to short. Good backhand pick by Jarvis. 2 outs in the third. So a stat that was taboo maybe 10 years ago. People thought it was a little bit too prospective and analytical. Batting average on balls in play. In theory, it's a regressionary number that just about every team's going to come back to whatever league average would be. It's just the balls that you put in play. What your average on those balls is. And the Aces actually come in below league average. In fact, these two teams, the only teams in the league with a BABIP, as they call it, BABIP, sub 300. So you would think that both these teams have some hits coming their way because they'll regress back to the mean. Now, that doesn't necessarily always happen. Smaller sample size in this league. But I think there's also a big difference between the Aces and the Blue Sox in the sense that you can count on some regression more so for Melbourne than you can Sydney, because Melbourne just quite frankly hits for more power. So therefore they hit the ball harder. And the Aces coming in, second best slugging percentage in the league, but the second lowest batting average on balls in play. Again, there's a better way to figure it out. We don't have the analytics to actually do that. But the Aces, I think, have some more hits coming their way. We kind of talked about that yesterday with the quality of contact. You felt like the Aces could have driven in more than the 4 runs they scored. And they've hit the ball hard tonight off of Jeremy Atkinson. There's a pop straight back and out of play.
As dumb as it sounds too, Michael, the weather does have an effect. We've seen some very windy games, some wet, cold games. This is 24, 5, 6 degrees. Wind is minimal. Makes a big difference.
And you also have some big bats in the lineup, too. Glendening is 0 for 1. Full count with 2 outs. Glendening, the league walk leader, with 23. And make that 24. That's an easy take for Robbie. And that's how he extends his now 13-game on-base streak. First walk allowed by Atkinson. In fact, the first plate appearance that has not resulted in a ball put in play.
And that's a disappointing at-bat if you're the Sydney Blue Sox. Because now you're bringing Kerrigan to play with a man on base.
Wind kind of feels like it's swirling a little bit tonight.
It is swirling a bit. There is a bit of wind, but it's not nearly as strong as we've seen it directionally in the past few series.
Strike one up in the zone on Jimmy Kerrigan, who doubled his first extra base hit as a Melbourne Ace. It was in the second inning, right before Greg Bird hit a home run that will once again send Yankees Twitter into a frenzy. Just give them time to wake up on the East Coast. They'll do it. Kerrigan with hits in 3 straight, and that average creeping up. Greg Bird on deck. Glendening, a 2-out walk, is on first. RBI for Kerrigan came on a ground out back in his 3rd game as an Ace. But you know, a guy like him with 1 RBI is now starting to rack up the hits. Hopefully the home runs follow suit as well. A guy who's hit a lot of home runs throughout his career. A couple of home runs already for the Aces in this game. Bird, the 2-run homer in the second. Kerrigan
getting introduced to the Australian flies.
Well, those are those flies that you said have actually been pretty.
It has been a pretty good summer for them. It has been.
It's been miserable for me walking the train station. Rounded foul by Jimmy Kerrigan. 2 homers, Bird, the 2-run homer in the second. Bannister a little earlier in this 3rd inning hit one off the flagpole out there in right field. Atkinson trying to put away Kerrigan. Here's the 0-2. And he fouls it back.
And right off his speaker in front of us. Right back down into play.
I would imagine the walk-up for tonight's game was significant. The weather has to play a massive role into this. And this ballpark is as full as it was at any point, I feel like, last weekend. We'll get the official number here in a few innings, but what a night.
One thing we noticed, Talking to Justin Huber about crowds been coming a lot earlier this year than they had in the past, settling in, getting ready, enjoying some of the food and drink from around the ballpark.
And a swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Injury tags out Kerrigan. And it puts away Atkins' first strikeout of the night. But Zion Bannister with a 5th leadoff home run for the Aces this year. And what a sweet swing, no doubt about it, for Zion off the flagpole out there in right. And that's how Melbourne takes a 3-1 lead. We go to the 4th. Ed Wyatt takes over for the middle innings after this.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today.
Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
At the Sporting Globe, we're a little different to other pubs and bars. We have more than just cooks, we have chefs. We have more than bar service, we have table service. We have more than specials, we have specialties. We have more than live sporting events, we have atmosphere. And we have more than customers, we have fans. It's more than a sports bar, it's a Sporting Globe.
At U-Blinds Australia, it's our great low prices that make the difference. In our end of summer Aloha clearance sale, save from 30% up to 50% off our range of blinds, shutters and awnings. U-Blinds Australia, more value for you.
Welcome back. Sun in the west of Melbourne as you look at the Melbourne ballpark, and the Aces have a 3-1 lead over the Sydney Blue Sox, and we are in the top of the 4th inning. Ed Wyatt and Michael Dixon with you. Clayton Campbell, Solomon McGuire, and Joe DeLuca against Randy Wynn, who did give up 1 run in the first inning, but since then it's been pretty solid. Campbell popped up to first his first time up. First couple pitches outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Beautiful night for baseball. Temperature at the moment, 25 degrees, dropping slowly. Misses the outside corner. Quick 3-0 count here on Clayton Campbell. That's in for a strike, 3-1. Look at the fans in those comfortable seats.
Finally sat in one of those for the first time.
Pretty nice, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. You see why people do fall asleep, even
Literally,
if the game's exciting. Grounded to short. Glendening, easy, over to first. Oh, gets away from Bird. Throw was wide. Glendening puts his hands on his hips. Can't believe it.
Well, you can't be perfect, and the Aces have been the best defense statistically, but that's why this game is so silly. It's the one game where the defense controls the ball and has an impact on the outcome of a play, and that's just a short throw from Glendening. You could tell at the second it left his hand, wasn't going to get to Bird, and it was then up to Greg to try and make a pick. I'm sure it's a really tough play for a first baseman to make when you've got turf and dirt. And that's just a miscue from Robbie. And only the 15th error for the Aces in this, their 30th game of the season.
Yeah, very rare. Solomon McGuire steps in now. He struck out his first time up. So Campbell on first. I'm waiting for the ruling on that. I suspect it will be an error on Glendening. That's popped up out of play.
And it is indeed an error by the Aces shortstop.
Very rare. So 2 quick strikes on McGuire. Grounds it foul. Stays alive.
Give Randy Wynn credit, too, after that tough first inning. He settled in nicely. Gave up a single in the third, but no nonsense after that. Should be one away here in the fourth.
There's Tony Harris, manager of the Sydney Blue Sox. Been around a long time. Knows his stuff, no doubt about that. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch to McGuire. Swing and a miss. 4th strikeout of the night for Randy Wynn. Brings up Joe DeLuca.
Yeah, it's a really good pitch from Randy. Went low and away. We don't have a radar gun, so it's tough for us to tell. But it was a pitch that tailed away from McGuire, the lefty, and went and chased it. Was out of the strike zone, but strike 3 nonetheless. And Wynn's got his 4th K tonight.
DeLuca's swing and a miss. You know what we used to do when the scouts were here? I just have my binoculars and I would focus on the gun down there. You could read the digital score with the thing and act like we had a speed gun here. Is it a quick look at the Aces bullpen? Just a little stretching going on, not much more than that. Another swing and a miss by DeLuca. He flew out his first time up.
Not a bad way to go about it.
And 1 down, runner on first. The Aces lead it 3-1. Top of the 4th inning. Fouled. DeLuca stays alive. Bottom of the order, 1 for 10 in yesterday's game. That's DeLuca, Shepard, and Henry. Got him. 2nd consecutive strikeout for Wynn. 2 down.
All 5 of them swinging too, so you know that he's in control. And Randy Wynn, a guy who pitched in the big leagues in June, he's pitched pretty much exclusively at AAA the last couple of years. He brings a lot of experience and big-time pedigree here to Melbourne, and Aces have to love what they've seen so far from him.
That's hit hard by Shepard down the right field line. That's going to drift foul, but from our viewpoint, it looked a lot closer than it probably was. He swung late on that, but really hit it pretty hard. But it just goes down as a strike, so 0-1 on Zach Shepard. See that sun kind of drifting across the diamond there behind Randy Wynn. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
And it feels like Wynn has gotten better as the evening has progressed, which you love to see. And again, of the 4 hits he's given up, none of them were all that hard hit. The hardest hit ball was the RBI single from Artist in the first, and really just fought that off as much as anything.
Outside corner, got him looking. 3 strikeouts in a row to end the inning. And we will go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Aces still leading Sydney 3-1.
All-Star Access Hire are your access equipment specialists. We have an extensive range of state-of-the-art equipment and we pride ourselves on delivering outstanding customer service. We have the youngest fleet of equipment in Victoria and we are consistently adding new machines. We get to know our customers and form partnerships with them. This video is of our partnership with the Victorian Government at Reservoir Station. All-Star Access Hire are proud sponsors of the Melbourne Aces and our All-Star Bar.
Welcome back to Melbourne Ballpark, the Greyhound race, which isn't actually a Greyhound race if you haven't seen it. It's people running with sort of cardboard Greyhound signs. And there was actually a false start. Someone jumped out incredibly early trying to get that lead, and they will be disqualified. I've had a word down there with the people that run the race, and they will be disqualified. A lot of fun. Greyhound Racing Victoria, obviously very important sponsor of the Aces, and that race happens every game.
Somewhat upset, too. That probably cost him a little bit of money.
Well, here we go. Greg Bird homered his last time up, and he's a line shot fouled on the first baseline. You got to call that home run in the second. Maybe I'll get to call one here in the fourth.
That'd be nice, because I feel like I've been hogging them lately.
You have gotten the home runs.
By the way, great bit from Chuck Morgan, the legendary PA announcer of the Texas Rangers for the dot race. He starts every dot race with a reminder, this is an exhibition, no wagering, please.
Exactly. That's grounded foul again down the first baseline. Has he ever been to Australia? Probably not. Aces lead 3-1. We are in the bottom of the fourth inning.
I feel like no response from me there can be good, so I'll just keep it moving forward.
There's a grounder to first. Campbell with it. He's going to take it himself. One down. Brings up Jared Dale. Flew out to center field his first time up.
Next up for your Melbourne Aces, Jared Dale.
Dale making himself at home in the lineup now. Kind of a fixture at second base for the most part. Much bigger guy than you think when you look at him on the field. Actually, he's a pretty tall guy. Came to the ballpark today to see Peter Moylan and Graham Lloyd playing some catch, throwing the ball around. And I tell you what, I said to them, you guys going to go on Sunday. They almost looked like they could still pitch.
They're ready.
It was unbelievable. I mean, obviously they can't, but still, to watch two guys who've done it at the highest level still throw with a tremendous amount of speed is pretty cool.
Haven't seen any teams throwing around an AFL football or a gridiron football lately.
Yeah, there used to be a lot more of that. Brisbane does that a bit. That's hit into center field. But for the second straight at-bat, it's a fly out to Jacob Robson, 2 down.
Well, Perth was playing cricket in the dugout.
Sydney was doing a bit of that too, actually.
Playing some cricket?
Yeah, yesterday. Come in, bowl it, and then try and use the baseball bat as a cricket bat.
That was a sight that I enjoyed seeing, walking around the MCG during the breaks and lunch and tea, as they call it, as I learned. And you'd be walking around the hallways, and there'd be kids with tennis balls and some contraption that they've created to be a wicket, and they'd be playing little games of cricket. Backyard cricket, I've learned, is a big thing here.
Huge,
that would be fun. I would love to try my hand at backyard cricket.
We had a game a few years ago. One of my wife's relatives is married to a former Australian Test cricketer, Graham Yallop. Fairly famous guy. He was the captain of Australia at some point. That was kind of a fun backyard cricket game. That's fouled away by Chris Burke, who popped up to third his first time up. It's kind of like the U.S., playing wiffle ball in the backyard or whatever with your quirky rules. If it goes over the fence for a 6, you're out because you can't blast it into the neighbor's backyard or, into the street, those sort of things. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Burke, 2 outs. Fouls that away. Aces in front, 3-1. They won last night's game 4-0. This is game 2 of a 4-game series. Big, slow breaking ball that misses. 2-2. Meant to be really nice tomorrow, hot, and then a little unstable on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be a wait and see day for sure. Misses on the outside corner. Burke's worked it to a full count here, 3-2.
Well, first time he went with the breaking ball, and that time he tried the fastball. Neither could clip the outside part of Kingo Iwashida's strike zone.
It tends to be a little narrow, is my observation of his strike zone. And that doesn't matter how narrow it is there, because that's outside, and Burke owns a 2-out walk. Second walk of the night for Atkinson brings up Mitch Edwards.
You don't necessarily want to get in a habit of the 2-out walk, and it's the second consecutive inning that the right-hander Atkinson has walked. The third batter he's faced after retiring the first 2, so Glendening worked it in the third. Burke does here in the fourth. Kerrigan struck out swinging in the third. Let's see what Edwards does with Melbourne on top 3-1.
Swing and a miss. Second straight inning that's opened with a ground out to Campbell and has a 2-out walk. How's that for some trivia?
Well, Mitch Edwards was trying to hit Melbourne's third home run of the night right there. That was a huge swing.
It sure was. Runner goes. Edwards fouls it.
That was a bluff, actually, from Burke, but he got a decent ways towards second before he headed back to first.
There's a look at Jeremy Atkinson. He's given up 3 runs and 3 hits, but they've been big ones, home runs. That one's way outside. Chris Burke on first, and a 1-2 count on Mitch Edwards. Throw over to first. Burke dives back in safely.
Burke, by the way, has had a good season setting in Sydney. With that walk, he's now 3 for 10 with 3 walks. So he's been seeing the Blue Sox pitchers well.
This time he goes. There's a throw down to second, and I think they've got him, and they do. So the inning ends on Chris Burke caught stealing. We'll move to the top of the 5th inning. Aces still lead Sydney 3-1.
There's an unseen thread woven into the fabric of all Australian homes. It's a way of life. Sun-kissed days, afternoon storms, and memories shared with those we love. It's messy, but you bet we make it work. In the end, it's the simple things that make an Australian home home. And what did the trick then? It still does the job now.
Hills, Australia's trusted clothesline since 1945.
Welcome back to Melbourne Ballpark, and if you've been watching our broadcast throughout the season, you know that the fifth inning is brought to you by Crew Fitness and Performance with a more than vision. And what drives the Crew team and its members? It's a dedication to community and an eagerness to be surrounded by a personal growth culture. Stop into their location in Braybrook or Hoppers Crossing to see for yourself. Crew Fitness and Performance, of course, a proud sponsor of the Melbourne Aces. Top of the fifth inning. Bottom of the order, Wyatt Hendry, the 9-hitter. Then the top, Robson and Jarvis. Aces lead 3-1. And Randy Wynn continues on the mound. Giving up 4 hits, but only 1 run.
Yeah, I always love to see when a guy's gotten better as the game has progressed, and that's the case for sure with Randy Wynn.
That's hit well in the deep center field. Back goes Whitefield and makes a catch on the warning track. Well hit ball by the number 9 hitter, but 1 away.
It's just kind of hard to explain without seeing it what makes Aaron Whitefield a big league defender. And a catch like that, it's just perfect. The first step is perfect. The way he tracks it, the way he backpedals, and that's hit to a very deep part of the ballpark. You're also dealing with a swirling wind, and Aaron Whitefield makes it look easy.
Covers a lot of territory without being, how do I say this, without sounding offensive, without being a guy you look at immediately and go, wow, he's fast. We know he's fast, but he doesn't exude speed like so many outfielders. But he is, and you're right, his technique is good, gets a good jump. He's not afraid to take it away from another player, as you already alluded to earlier, in a good way. I'm going to get, now, I don't want you saying anything to Aaron Whitefield. I don't want him coming up to me and saying, I hear you're saying I'm slow, like you did with Steven.
No. Well, he
fine.
heard you say that,
It's
and
fine.
I threw you under the bus.
It's fine.
So there's a huge difference.
Here is Robson single and a fly out. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Speaking of Whitefield, Robson and Whitefield know each other quite well, have been teammates multiple stops.
Indeed.
Australian and Canadian.
And that is a walk. Good eye from the veteran Jacob Robson.
Hey, he's been a pest in this series.
Yeah.
That's his 3rd walk. A couple of hits as well. He's scored Sydney's only run of the series, where he led off this game with a single back in the first. So 1 out walk, the first walk allowed by Randy Wynn in his Aces career. And the Aces now have left-hander Evan Rutsky up and warming. That is a great shot. GA seating down the first base line that has been packed to the brim from the outset tonight.
Speaking of pests, here's Jarvis as the runner goes. Throw is high into center field. Robson's going to be safe. Just about to say Jarvis, 2 hits tonight, been on twice.
He got a great jump, no chance really, and Edwards misfired there, didn't matter. Another look at that. Robson thought about getting to 3rd, but of course no reason to test it.
Yeah, he did have a really good jump, you're right. There is Evan Rutsky, big lefty, another Canadian.
Lead you to believe this is the final inning for Randy Wynn, and I would think that he might only have 2 batters remaining with Jarvis and Wiley, a couple of righties, and then you've got the lefty Artist and Rutsky up, who's been, I don't want to say a lefty specialist this year, but we have seen him used in specific roles dedicated to pitching against lefties.
That's hit up the middle for a base hit. Robson may test the arm of Whitefield. Here comes the throw. He's going to go back to 3rd. Throw is a little offline anyway, but runners at the corners now for the Sydney Blue Sox.
Well, you said, job well done by Tony Harris to try and get some of these Blue Sox back on track, and moving Jarvis down to the 2 spot initially has done wonders. He's 3 for 3 here tonight. That a rocket back up the middle. Far and away the sharpest hit for a Sydney hitter tonight. And now with runners down the corners, one out, things are a little dicey with some tough hitters coming through. Wiley followed by Artis.
And Wiley, as you mentioned, Michael, has been shut down well by the Aces, but he definitely is a decent hitter, and that's hit well to left field. Back goes Burke. He's going to get it on the warning track. It will score a run as Robson comes in to make the score 3-2. That was well hit.
Yeah, it feels like a swirling wind and got up in the teeth of it. And that's out number 2. I think that may have afforded Wynn the rest of the inning. A run comes in to score, but you get a chance to get him through one more batter. And here's another look at the sac fly from Wiley.
He did get under it, you're right. But you see Burke going way back onto the warning track. And Jarvis has to stay at first, but Robson does come in to score. Here is Artis, single and a ground out.
Wynn hasn't been his sharpest tonight, but gets through this. You got 2 runs in 5 innings. You absolutely take that, especially for his second start. Still trying to get all the way stretched out.
It's a ball, 2-0. Runner still on first. 3-2 ball game. Sydney keeps fighting back. And misses outside. 3 balls, no strikes.
Seen a couple of these too from Wynn where he's fallen behind 3-0. Not something that you're accustomed to seeing from him because he's got such good command.
Here is the 3-0 pitch. Whew, just missed. Second walk of the inning, end of the game.
Here comes Peter Moylan. So the in for Wynn is near. He's not going to come out here. But I think you could go ahead and say this is probably his last batter with McGuire, the lefty, on deck. Campbell, the righty, standing in. Rutsky is ready. And I'm sure this conversation is quite simply, hey, man, you got one batter. And a chance to get that final out. You're in line for the win if you can do it. Melbourne up 3-2 here in the top of the 5th. But tying run in scoring position, go ahead run at first. And a chance here for Clayton Campbell to do some damage. He's 0 for 2. He's reached on an error, but bats in the biggest juncture of the game thus far for Sydney.
Yep, you're spot on, Michael. They leave Wynn in to face the right-handed Campbell. 2 outs, runners on first and second, 3-2. Sydney have closed the gap to 1 run. First pitch is outside, so 5 consecutive balls from Randy Wynn. There's a swing and a miss. 1-1.
Said pregame that after the 60 we saw from him on Sunday, probably seeing somewhere around 75 to 80 tonight. This is number 76.
That just misses. 2-1. Two men on, 2 outs. 2-1 is the count. Outside and low, 3-1.
He's got similar body language to Gunnar Kynes in the 5th inning yesterday, where you can tell he's fighting it.
Yep.
Just trying to get through this 5th inning. Gunnar did a great job of that. Of course, Sydney didn't score a run yesterday. Wasn't the sharpest we've seen Gunnar Kynes, but he still got through 5 scoreless. That's
grounded foul into the Blue Sox dugout. So So full count, 3-2. Big pitch coming up here for Randy Wynn. If he can get Campbell here, get out of the inning.
And you got good speed on the base paths, too, with the runners taking off on the pitch home.
Yep.
So be careful on anything into the gaps or down the lines.
It's popped out of play. Just over the party deck. We'll do it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of 5. Blue Sox have pushed a run across here from a sacrifice fly and have cut the margin to 3-2. Sun shining through the party deck here at Melbourne Ballpark. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. And it is high, ball 4. Wynn exasperated, wanted that one. Bases loaded. And here comes John Diebel. He's going to make a call to the bullpen, and we will take a quick break. It's a punt, 1-2-3, pitching change coming up.
And same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today.
Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
Light and Easy have been named Best Healthy Meal Delivery Service again, but you won't find us stopping to celebrate. We're busy making it easy for Aussies to achieve their well-being goals, and the results speak for themselves. Light and Easy, just good food and great results.
That is Evan Rutsky. Punt 1-2-3 pitching change. It comes in for Randy Wynn, who leaves after 4 2/3 innings. Really struggled here in the top of the 5th inning. Hadn't walked a batter until then. In fact, he finished the 4th with 3 consecutive strikeouts and then walked 3 batters in the 5th. So clearly tiring, reached his limit.
Yeah, kind of a strange line for him, too, with those 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. But they call on Evan Rutsky, the lefty, to face the left-hander, Solomon McGuire. And then after that, you flip DeLuca around to hit from the right side. If McGuire reaches, of course, the Aces hope that doesn't happen, because if McGuire does reach, then Melbourne will no longer have the lead 3-2 with the bases full. 2 down in the top of the 5th. And Rutsky's been good this year in situations like this. Numbers are good, 2-1, a 3.07 ERA, but specifically he has inherited 4 runners this year, none of which have come into scores. So Rutsky in this kind of shutdown spot has been great. And the last time we saw him inherit a runner, it required just 1 pitch to get out of the inning. That was last week against Adelaide. So the bullpen as a whole, too, has been good. Yep. 2.68 ERA, 10 strikeouts per 9 now with the 8 strikeouts that the bullpen had in 4 innings yesterday. So Rutsky's been good in these spots. The Melbourne bullpen altogether has been good, and you just trust your tough situational lefty to sit down McGuire and get the Aces through the remainder of this inning.
So you got Jarvis is on first, Artis is on second. Jarvis is on third, Artis on second, and Campbell on first. McGuire has struck out twice tonight, but had a couple hits yesterday. First pitch from Rutsky, that's a strike. Surprised me. Thought that was going to be low and outside, but he gets it. Not complaining. McGuire steps out. Back in. There is the big lefty, Rutsky. Oh, wow. Nice work by Edwards, keeping that safe.
Yeah, out of his head. You were worried immediately, and Edwards is cool as anybody back there behind the plate. Just a subtle little shift, and nothing more than ball 1.
1-1 is the count. 2 outs. Aces 3. Blue Sox 2. Big breaking ball. Doesn't get that call. Wow.
Maybe a little high and tight.
Very tight strike zone tonight. 2 balls and a strike. That's hit down the left field line. It's going to drift foul. So count will be 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Now, interesting here, 2-2. Rutsky's thrown a couple of fastballs, and it doesn't look like he's had a great feel for either. On the breaking balls he's thrown, he's had a lot more command of, so we'll see what he goes to here with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, or Richie as they call it here in Australia.
Went just missed.
He went to that breaking ball.
Yeah, he did.
Now he's got to throw a strike or this game is tied.
Oof. Here's a replay. Love to see that from another angle. Drops right in there. Oof.
Probably a little bit high, though, when you actually look at where it crossed the plane of home plate.
Here we go. 3-2. 2 outs. Big pitch. Swing and a miss. Huge from Evan Rutsky. Absolutely massive. It's a messy inning. Only 1 hit. But the Blue Sox do get a run. They leave 3 men on base. We will head to the bottom of the 5th. Aces 3, Blue Sox 2.
One Love is there for the moments with the people you love the most. To share the highs and the lows together. It's the one for all people, all times, and all places. Brick Lane's One Love Pale Ale. It's the one for all.
Welcome back to Melbourne Ballpark. There is Maverick. Hard-working mascot. Good look at the crowd tonight. Good crowd. It's cooling down a fair bit here, but still beautiful night as you look at the Aces dugout. Graham Lloyd there. And there's a wide shot of the stadium. Here's Mitch Edwards. He was at the plate when Chris Burke was caught stealing. So he will head back into the batter's box, get another chance. That pitch is outside, 1-1. That's grounded sharply to first. Play made by Campbell. He'll take it to himself. He's had a lot of action down there at first. We'll call first the hot corner tonight. 1 away. I'm just going to look at my score sheet. At least 1, 2, 3. 3 that he's handled himself. 4 that he's handled himself.
3 consecutive innings that the inning has
opened with that.
Yep.
You're right. There we go. Hat trick. Another hat trick. Here comes Zion Bannister. Home run. His last time up. Aces 3, Blue Sox 2. Jeremy Atkinson still on the mound for Sydney and no action. In fact, there is some action out there in the bullpen. A little bit of warming up. Stretching, perhaps. Not necessarily throwing at the moment. Strike. Inside corner. Zion wasn't too happy with that one. One ball, two strike. 2 balls and a strike on Zion, excuse me. That's inside, so 3-1. There is the Blue Sox bullpen. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Swung on, hit sharply foul down the first baseline. Count moves to 3-2. Might be Matthew Ray warming up. I thought I saw number 18. Not sure about that. We'll figure that out shortly. There's Peter Moylan, Aces pitching coach.
Unless they got a lefty on the roster that we're not aware of, that is Ray.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Atkinson to Bannister. And that misses by a long way, and Zion's got to walk.
I like to see that from Zion at the bottom of the order, trying to get everybody gelling.
Yep.
And it moved him to the 9th spot for the first time yesterday. He was the only ace without a hit. Melbourne hitting the ball hard. Zion was hitting the ball hard, as you said, just not really finding patches of grass, and takes matters into his own hands with the home run in the 3rd. And then you love a walk from the 9th spot here in the 5th. So turns the lineup card over, and here's Aaron Whitefield.
So 1 out, Zion's on first, has good speed, as does Whitefield at the plate. A couple of ground outs for Aaron tonight. That's popped down the right field line. I think it's out of play. Yes, it is. Wasn't too far out, but would have taken an incredible effort to get over there and make that had it even stayed in. So no balls and a strike on Aaron and Whitefield, 1 out. Darryl George on deck. Throw back to first, no problem at all. Bottom of 5. Aces 3. Sydney 2.
You'd think this would be a good time to get Bannister running, maybe a hit and run, leadoff hitter at the plate. Bannister, great speed, of course, at first, fastest prospect in the Rangers organization. He's had some trouble getting good jumps this year. Leads the league, actually, in times caught stealing with 6, but let's try and get the running game going. We haven't seen much of it lately from the Aces, haven't needed it.
Well,
Come through with some bigger hits. And
yeah, good point.
Obviously tonight, a couple of home runs, but this wouldn't be a bad time, I think. And that's what a guy like Zion Bannister in the 9th spot affords you, too. A chance to do some things that you otherwise wouldn't.
That's inside. 2 balls and a strike on leadoff hitter Aaron Whitefield.
Look at that crowd.
Yeah, it's a good crowd. Friday night. We still got a game tomorrow night at 7. Should be a good crowd for that one as well. Whitefield fouls that back. Count moves to 2-2. Aces Sydney got 1 in the first. Aces answered with 2 in the bottom of the 2nd on the Greg Bird home run. Got 1 in the bottom of the 3rd on the Zion Bannister home run. And then Sydney got 1 in the 5th. And that's where we are now. Bottom of 5, 3-2 Aces. Tight ball game. Two-two pitch. There goes Zion. No throw.
Yeah, time called by
just gonna say,
Whitefield at the very last second. And Zion didn't get a great jump either.
Yeah,
that would have been a very close play at second. In fact, it looked like he wasn't going to go, and I was surprised that he actually took off. Didn't really get...
strange little sequence, that one, actually.
Such a long hold from Atkinson that Whitefield finally forced to call time.
So we're back to 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's the pitch. Whitefield pops that one up. That might be playable. No, it's going to drift just foul again. So count remains 2-2, 1 out. We will do it again.
And because of the 2 home runs, it doesn't really feel like a 1-run game, but this is a big juncture with Melbourne trying to answer after Sydney.
Well, the Aces have 3 hits. Sydney have 5, right? So, funny game. 2-2 pitch. One more time. Nope. Throw to first. Keep Zion close.
In fact, it felt like they hit yesterday's starter Cohen Wynn quite a bit harder than they've hit Atkinson, and yet Atkinson's given up 2 homers and a double tonight. 3 runs through 4 innings.
That's inside, so we've moved to a full count now, 3-2.
3
Good
walks.
at-bat. Good at-bat here.
Yeah, 3 walks the last 3 innings. That's helped too. Atkinson, you can tell, is laboring quite a bit, but
yep.
I don't know why. I think part of the reason too is that Randy Wynn was cruising. It just doesn't feel like the Aces are up by 1. It feels like they're up by 3 or 4.
Whitefield fouls that off his foot or ankle, something. It stung, whatever it hit.
Bannister got all the way through second. He's
Yeah.
turned around saying, come on, man.
It's a long at-bat.
Speaking of false starts, like you said with the Greyhound race, never looks like fun.
No, we saw that last night. And we will do it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Zion Bannister on first. Whitefield at the plate. Hit sharply into left field for a single. Great at-bat from Aaron Whitefield.
Yeah, one of his best of the season, maybe his best of the season. It was that good. And you've got all kinds of stuff happening on the base pass with Bannister at first. And a long plate appearance results in a base hit to the left side. 2 on, 1 out. That's the end of the line for Jeremy Atkinson.
Indeed, we just saw that hit from Whitefield, and that means it's another punt, 1-2-3 pitching change. We'll be back after this.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today.
Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
Light and Easy have been named Best Healthy Meal Delivery Service again, but you won't find us stopping to celebrate. We're busy making it easy for Aussies to achieve their well-being goals, and the results speak for themselves. Light and Easy, just good food and great results.
Welcome back to Melbourne Ballpark. That is Matthew Ray. He's 36 years old, Australian, 11th season with Sydney, punt 1-2-3 pitching change, of course. Career 8-16 record, was 4-2 last season. And I think, obviously, with that gray hair, it makes him look potentially even older. But he's a veteran. He's been around for a long time.
I was going to say, he puts the Ray in gray hair, that's for sure.
Goes well with the gray uniform as well. Another one of those veteran guys we talked about. You know, a left-handed arm, still valuable, Michael. Doesn't matter how old you are. If you were left-handed, you might be out there throwing. All right, maybe not.
He looks like a roadie for Journey or something like that, you know?
There's some young Aces fans having a good time at the ballpark. And we'll reset the scene here. We've got Zion Bannister. He walked. He's now at second. Aaron Whitefield had a single. He's at first. There's 1 out. Aces up 3-2. And Darryl George at the plate. Good time for Georgie to come through with a big hit here. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Fly out and a ground out. I do like that Sydney cap, that S.
It is classic, yep.
George swings at the first pitch, and I think that's going to drift foul. Yes, it is. A lot of action over the All-Star bar down there, that net that the kids were trying to climb yesterday. No such action tonight.
Well, Ray's closing in on 200 career innings. He'll probably get there. 12 1/3 away. He has allowed 29 career ABL home runs, so he's giving up some long balls in that ERA, as you said, north of 6.
It's hit sharply foul down the left field line. So Georgie quickly in an 0-2 hole here.
These guys have seen each other a handful of times over the years, I'm sure.
Aces 3 runs, 4 hits. Sydney 2 runs, 5 hits. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Aces trying to add to that slender lead. Breaking ball misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
So runners on first and second. Darryl George at the plate. Runner going, Zion, and they've got him in a rundown. This could be dangerous here. And they're just going to go to the base and tag that, and that's going to give the Aces an out.
Now, hang on a second.
I think this is
who's
umpire
out
ruled
here.
him out. I think it's Whitefield.
They touched Whitefield, and Bannister then ran freely to third.
Yeah, that was smart from
So Whitefield's out at second, and now we're going to have a conference here because right now the Aces are the beneficiary of this because instead of a runner at second, 2 down, you get the runner at third. And skipper Tony Harris is out to chat with the second base umpire Casey Cook, who made the call. Both players were occupying second base, I thought, at the same time. And we've seen that at multiple junctures this year. And the runner, in this case Zion Bannister, would be the one called out. But for a moment there, Zion was running freely between second and third. The Blue Sox didn't do anything about it because they thought that Whitefield was safe and Bannister was already out. And there you can see the look from, I think that was the shortstop. No, that was the third baseman Shepard, but confusing play. And so now Casey Cook and Tony Harris have a chat. That was very strange.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the bottom line is the Aces are going to have 2 outs, but it's whether they have a man on second or a man on third.
Well, it's tough for Whitefield, too, because he's the one who has to wear the caught stealing.
Yeah, true.
Long discussion, and the umpires are going to come together. I have a hunch they're going to overturn this, and I think Zion's going to be the guy out.
I think you might be right.
Because clearly what we saw in the replay were 2 players occupying the same base, which of course you can't do. And every time I've seen this previously, the runner ahead has been out. And we've seen that multiple times here with the runner at the leading runner, if you will, out. And so they'll chat. Obviously, somebody's out here. It's going to be a 2-out situation.
Yeah. Smart play from Matthew Ray, let's be honest.
And they come together, and, the call stays the same.
Wow. Geez, that's a huge break for Melbourne if George can.
There's another look. Zion clearly takes off too early.
Yeah. So Whitefield
does what you have to do.
On the base, isn't he? Yeah. So 2 men on the base. And they tag Zion as well as step on the base. Odd. So Bannister on third, George at the plate. It counts still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
George
misses there.
6 for 14 in his career against Ray, so he's hit him hard. A couple of RBIs. I don't feel bad for feeling confused when Tony Harris was also confused.
Yeah, true. Well, it doesn't matter in the long run because Ray comes in and strikes out Darryl George. Strange inning. Aces do get a hit, but no runs. Leave 1 man on base, and we will head to the top of the 6th inning. Score still. Aces 3, Blue Sox 2.
Aussie gardeners are best served by Aussie tools, built specifically for our unique environment and conditions. Back in the 1890s, Leonard Chambers and William Thompson started a beekeeping supply business in Melbourne. Little would they know that their company would go on to change how Australians garden for well over a century. Cyclone is ingrained into our country's history and our way of life. Our tools are long-lasting and purpose-built for hard work.
We've been making quality tools for over a century.
They last that long, you can hand them down to the next generation. Good, quality, honest product that the Australian people have grown to love.
It's not an Aussie shed without a Cyclone.
My biggest takeaway of being here for 34 years is just a sense of pride in the product.
Australians buy good products. So if they keep on buying, we keep on making, so we're here.
Cyclone tools, made for Australians.
Light and Easy have been named Best Healthy Meal Delivery Service again, but you won't find us stopping to celebrate. We're busy making it easy for Aussies to achieve their well-being goals, and the results speak for themselves. Light and Easy, just good food and great results.
Welcome back to Melbourne Ballpark. We've got a good one, a tight one. Aces 3, Blue Sox 2. Seen a little bit of everything. Long ball, some controversy, one error. Crowd enjoying another beautiful night at the ballpark. Winds picked up a little bit. Still not as blustery as it's been the past few. There's a young man with the Michael Dixon haircut from years ago. Fans having a good time at the park. Evan Rutsky remains on the mound for the Aces in relief of Randy Wynn, who faced the bottom of the order, DeLuca, Shepard, and Hendry. We have 3 strikeouts among them. They're 0 for 6 tonight. Here's DeLuca. Struck out and flew out. Foul back into the net. Strike 1.
So I looked it up in inning break, and the legislation was correct. You got 2 guys on the same base. The lead runner is safe, and the following runner is out.
Right.
But again, we had that same situation last week in which the lead man was actually called out.
That's an interesting rule, isn't it? Very interesting. Just misses, 1-1.
It's always confusing when you watch it happen, too, because everyone's just kind of looking at each other, pointing fingers. The base runners are pointing fingers at each other, and the fielders are pointing fingers.
That's high. Ball 2, 2-1. Sydney trying to stay alive here, trying to get their first win over the Aces this season. That's inside, so 3-1 to DeLuca, and that guy's really battling at the plate. Don't want to put him on. Fouled out of play. DeLuca stays alive, bounces right back down. Kid's on it. Look at that.
Got a champion.
He's pumped.
There he is.
Look at him. He is absolutely fired up, and why not?
He's got 2.
Jeez. How about that? Good stuff. All right, 3-2 is the count. Rutsky's battled back here against DeLuca. In the dirt. Lead-off walk.
A tying man aboard, and the walks have come now entirely a third time through the order, so Sydney's been patient, but Robson walked his 3rd time, Artis, Campbell, and now DeLuca. And here's the number 8 man, so 4 of the last 7 Sydney batters have reached via the free pass.
Shepard 2 strikeouts tonight, but did get the first on that wild pitch in the second inning. But he has been struggling big time at the plate. Thinking about laying down a bunt, but looks at ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. The Aces holding on to a slim 3-2 lead here in the top of the 6th. Second game of a 4-game series. That misses. 2-0.
Feels like the Aces hit their home runs at the right time, because as the game has progressed and the sun has set, it feels like that wind
Agreed.
has actually picked up blowing in.
Yep.
We know what happens to balls in the outfield with the wind blowing in here.
And Rutsky really struggling here.
It just doesn't seem like he's got full control of that fastball tonight.
No.
We saw that even in that 5th inning. He was fighting the fastball command. He did strike out McGuire to end the inning, which was huge. But he's walked DeLuca, now behind 3-0 on Shepard. Nobody up and warming, but here comes Christian James.
There's a good pitch. Strike one, 3-1. Greg Bird staying awake, staying alive, on his feet, bouncing around. There's Rutsky ready to deliver. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good stuff from the lefty.
Back-to-back really good pitches. One just to get in the count, and that one tough pitch. 3-1. Comes right down Main Street, and the guy who's struck out a lot lately now faces a 3-2 pitch.
Got him. Huge stuff from Evan Rutsky. Great comeback.
I mean, the strike zone must feel it's about body width and height high right now for Shepard. That's a good pitch over the inside corner. Just clips the edge. 3 strikeouts tonight, now 15 for him over his last 7 games. So the strikeouts have come in bunches for Shepard, and that's a huge out number 1 for Evan Rutsky.
Here's Wyatt Hendry, the catcher. He's flown out to center and hit into a double play. That would be a nice thing to happen right now for Evan Rutsky with Joe DeLuca on first.
We like double plays.
We do. Pitcher's best friend, broadcaster's best friend. That's hit sharply into center, but Aaron Whitefield doesn't really have to move. And Hendry, for the second straight time, flies out to the Aces center fielder.
Absolute rocket. Whitefield came in a couple of steps and then pretty quickly had to take those 2 steps back, make the catch. Very savvy defensive center fielder, and makes it look easy each and every night. 2 down here in the 6th, and 4th time through the order. Here's Jacob Robson.
Robson 1 for 2 with a walk. And also has a stolen base, scored in the first inning. So he's had a big night. Rutsky with a quick, slow throw over to first. Keep DeLuca honest. Top 6, 3-2. The Aces holding on. That's inside. Ball 1. Hottest hitter in the game tonight. Jarvis on deck. 3 hits. 3 for 3. In the dirt, blocked well by Edwards. 2-0. The All-Star Bar in the background. Folks enjoying a drink here on a cool Friday night. Two-0 pitch. Strike.
Feels like that fastball command's coming around. He's thrown some pretty good ones here in the latter part of this 6th inning. I know that first one that missed, that was still a pretty good two-seamer that dove inside just at the last second.
2-1 now the count. Pop down the left field line. Going to drift out of play and foul. Count moves to 2-2. 23 degrees, so it's dropped down from a high of, I think, about 28 today.
Go ahead and pull the curtain back, though, Ed. What did I have to go grab?
A wind cheater, a sweatshirt, whatever you want to call it.
The wind coming in. It was a little chilly.
The Texan getting a little cold here in a Melbourne summer. Dallas has snow. I've seen weather reports from Dallas. It gets cold. There's a grounder into the hole between short and third, and how about that? Robson's on again.
He continues to be a problem.
Yeah.
Reached 3 times yesterday. He's reached 3 more times here, and John Diebel out of the dugout. He's going to go to right-hander to face Jarvis. So Robson chases Rutsky trying to get through the 6th inning, but he'll leave now with 2 on, 2 out, and a right-hander out to face a guy who's 3 for 3 here tonight, and it looks like that is Christian James.
We'll take a break, a punt 1, 2, 3 pitching change, get you updated when we come back.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today.
Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
Light and Easy have been named Best Healthy Meal Delivery Service again, but you won't find us stopping to celebrate. We're busy making it easy for Aussies to achieve their well-being goals, and the results speak for themselves. Light and Easy, just good food and great results.
There is Melbourne Ballpark. Beautiful sunset here in the western suburbs of Melbourne. And Christian James, punt 1, 2, 3 pitching change, is coming on to take over for Evan Rutsky, who lasted an inning, if I'm not correct. 1/3 of an inning and then 2/3.
Yep.
High school math tells me that equals 1 inning.
Very well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I thought Rutsky did a good job, obviously, navigating that 5th inning. Now inheriting 7 runners this year. None have scored. Kept the Aces in front, and Christian James, who's putting together an outstanding now month plus. Remember, he gave up runs first 2 outings, and he's been fantastic since. ERA now below 4. He, this year, has inherited a couple of runners, and neither have scored. That usually happens when your bullpen ERA is sub 2.7. But Randy Wynn, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, walked 3, struck out 6. Tried to get through that 5th inning, but just didn't have his sharpest stuff tonight. Rutsky cleans up the mess in the 5th. Exits, allowing a couple of base runners of his own here in the 6th. And let's see if now Christian James can continue things on as you see all the folks enjoying their Friday night.
There are 2 kinds of people in the world. There are the people who look at the camera and wave, and the people who look at the scoreboard and wave.
I like to think I'm a scoreboard guy because I like to see myself. In fact, I give props to the people who look at the camera because they realize it's more about
the broadcast
instead of themselves. But I'm not that way, Ed.
There's Christian James, and here comes Mike Jarvis. 3 for 3 tonight. The runners on first and second. Aces leading 3-2, so dangerous spot for Christian James. Brought on to stop the rally here. First pitch is a ball. This one just misses the outside corner, 2-0.
Yeah, it's just a tight zone tonight.
It is. Well, Brett Ralph, owner of the Aces, said the other night it was like pitching. It was a shoebox. That's what he called the strike zone.
Yep.
It's kind of like that tonight, maybe a little bigger. But I found that very funny. 2-0 pitch. That missed outside. So 3 quick balls here on Jarvis.
And tight zones are always tough, too, because the pitchers then feel like they've got to be borderline perfect to get the call. And so you start to try and pick the corners, and it just gets harder and harder.
See what Jarvis does here. Taking all the way. 3-1.
And Jarvis turns around and says, hey, come on, man. I know it's 3-0, but the strike zone's the strike zone.
So 3-1. James ready to go. That's a great pitch. 3-2.
I haven't seen that called much tonight, too, that high strike.
Yeah.
He went up there, got the call, and so now 3-2 with 2 outs. Huge pitch upcoming.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's a good pitch.
Yeah, framed well by Edwards, too. He brought it back down inside.
3-2, 2 outs, 2 men on. Runners go. There's a slow roll to short. Glendenning in, scoops, fires, got it. Christian James gets out of the inning. And we will head to the bottom of the 6th. The Aces hanging on, 3-2.
All-Star Access Hire are your access equipment specialists. We have an extensive range of state-of-the-art equipment, and we pride ourselves on delivering outstanding customer service. We have the youngest fleet of equipment in Victoria, and we are consistently adding new machines. We get to know our customers and form partnerships with them. This video is of our partnership with the Victorian Government at Reservoir Station. All-Star Access Hire are proud sponsors of the Melbourne Aces and our All-Star Bar.
Welcome back to Melbourne Ballpark. There's the Aces dugout. They're leading 3-2 over Sydney in the bottom of the 6th inning. Just a reminder, for the first time in many years, in fact, since 2017, Team Australia is playing right here in Melbourne. It's Team Australia against the Hanwha Eagles of the Korean KBO right here at Melbourne Ballpark. Going to be great. For more information, melbourneaces.com.au. So Matthew Ray will continue in relief for the Sydney Blue Sox. And he'll face Robbie Glendenning, Jimmy Kerrigan, and Greg Bird. Here, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Aces in the tight 3-2 game. Three runs, 4 hits for the Aces. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Sydney Blue Sox. Ed Wyatt, Michael Dixon with you from Melbourne Ballpark. Glendenning takes a strike, 1-1. That pitch is low in the dirt, so 2 balls and a strike from the 36-year-old left-hander, Matthew Ray, in his 11th season with the Blue Sox. So the game very much in the hands of the relievers right now. That's hit sharply into left center field for a base hit. Artist comes over and cuts it off, but Glendenning's on with his first hit of the ball game. Second time he's on base.
Yeah, the bottom line, he's just scalding hot right now. and extended his on-base streak to 13 earlier in the game with that walk. And here, just a nice smooth swing. Lefty on righty, got a pitch to hit. That's exactly what these Aces need, trying to restore the multi-run lead. It's 3-2. Feels pretty tense and tight here in this ballpark. Glendening at first. Here's Kerrigan.
Talking to Glendening before the game, he was really excited about the weather. I said, this is what you're used to in Perth. He said, it's the only thing one of the things I really miss about being in Perth was that sunny weather. It paid off tonight with a hit, although it is a bit cooler at the moment, as you mentioned, Michael. 1-0 pitch to Kerrigan. Looks at another ball, 2-0. Kerrigan double, scored in the second, struck out in the third.
I think you accurately said, especially with where we are. Always bring cover, no matter what. Once the sun goes down, it'll be a little chilly.
I was talking to Marty Smith, who is a big Aces fan and follower and involved in the baseball scene here too. Husband of Nicole Livingston. And his son is getting a chance to sort of hang out with the Aces, get some experience. He was saying the same thing, always throws a pair of long pants and a wind cheater in the car before he heads out here, no matter how hot it is. Very smart. And Kerrigan is going to head down to first.
Yeah, nowhere close on that last pitch from Ray.
So not. So first walk of the night for Ray, fourth night of the walk of the night for Blue Sox pitchers. And here's Greg Bird. Now, dangerous situation for Ray with two men on.
2 on, nobody out. We've seen a lot of guys lay down bunts. I don't think you're going to see that from Greg Bird.
Be interesting, wouldn't it?
I'm sure he'd have no problem doing it.
No. That pitch is low and in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 men on. The Aces could use a couple of insurance runs here as they hold on to a slim 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 6th. Breaking ball that Bird fouls back. 1-1. Game has slowed down a little bit the last few innings, kind of raced out to a pretty quick start.
Yeah, we are on pace for a rare 9-inning game over 3 hours.
That's low. Ball 2, 2-1.
Of course, we've had a lot of 3-ball counts and walks in these middle innings, so
definitely
doesn't help the pace of the game. But
a few pitching changes.
Average time of an Aces game this year, just over 2.5 hours, at 2 hours 32. That includes the 7-inning games too. But
good point.
I would say the average 9-inning game has been somewhere around 2:45.
That's a good pitch. Could be 2 here if they play it right. 1 over to first, 2. That's a nice double play by the Sydney Blue Sox. Wiley to Jarvis to Campbell.
Well, no team in the league has turned more double plays than Sydney. That's number 29. And it all depends on the play from Wiley there at second base coming in. He's got to field that on his backhand, and he does so very well.
It really
it's not
does.
an easy play. And then once you get the flip out, good turn there from Jarvis. Bird with not a ton of speed down the line. Felt like that was going to get turned once Wiley fielded it cleanly, so long as there was a good transfer from Jarvis and a good throw to first. So it's exactly what Ray needed, and here is Dale.
Does push Glendening to third, however, on that. So 2 outs, Robbie Moose to third. And as you mentioned, Jared Dale up. 2 flyouts, both to center fielder Jacob Robson tonight. Swing and miss the first pitch.
You get the first 2 on with nobody out. This would be a great moment for Jared Dale to come through and just cash in. You're not asking for much, just base hit to restore that multi-run lead. Get a run of insurance after you put the first 2 on.
Yep. That's fouled out of play. First time I heard that sound effect, I actually thought it was someone's car. Ray looking to get out of the inning. Oh, it's fouled out of play, nearly hit Chris Burke, who was warming up on deck. That was a close call there with Berkey.
He's joking as he got out of the way.
We got to show that to Zion. That's great. Swing and a miss. That's good work from Matthew Ray to get the Aces out of this inning. So no runs. They leave a man on third. We'll head to the top of the 7th. Michael Dixon will take over. Aces still with that slim 3-2 lead.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today.
Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
Like someone in the Aces.
Oh, there's a look at all the kids that ran from foul line to foul line.
Anybody cheat on that one?
I don't know. I wasn't looking closely enough. A friendly reminder, no wagering, please.
No, I don't mean wagering, like jumping out to a lead.
I'm just saying, but don't bet.
Yeah, no, of course not.
So there's Mitch Ellis. Good to see him.
Wow.
And it's been a long time coming back from surgery for the right-hander, but here he is on the mound to make his 2023-24 debut. And Mitch Ellis out there, we've seen him throw some bullpens and some situations with live hitters, but we have not yet seen him on the mound, so they put him out there in a big spot. Normally, you'd like to try and get a guy like this a spot in a game where it's not nearly as high leverage, but it's a one-run game as we go into the 7th, and all these games are critical for both teams. So Wiley, Artis, and Campbell, 3, 4, and 5 coming through, but trial by fire. Just go ahead and throw him out there and see where he's at. So Mitch Ellis on for the Melbourne Aces. Christian James inherited 2 runners, stranded both. Faced just 1 batter. Jarvis grounded out in that 6th inning. And the Blue Sox have left a lot out there tonight. 9 runners on base through 6 innings. And a nice Friday, as it almost always is here at Melbourne Ballpark. And there they are. She missed her spot in the limelight because she was sipping the beer. And then after she was done sipping, they realized they were on the camera. So they came back to her and they gave her her due. So Wiley is 0 for 2. He's got a sacrifice fly and an RBI. 14 RBIs in 8 games for him. And he hits to begin the 7th. 3-2 our score here at Melbourne Ballpark.
Ellis last played for Quad Cities in the Royals organization, 2022. That's high A ball. Started his career with Brisbane. Started as he was an outfield player that they converted to pitcher. Haven't seen him for a long time, as he mentioned, surgery keeping him out. I saw him throw some simulated games as that's hit into left field. Wiley finally off the mark, Michael.
Yeah, he's got his first hit of this series, and it's a fastball to the inside corner. So Wiley with a base hit. And that puts some good speed at first for DJ Artis here in a 1-run game. Well, good for Mitch Ellis. Good to see him back out there after a long break. Artis 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a walk. And the first pitch is low for ball 1. Pretty sunset off to our right. The Aces do have a right-hander up and warming. Here's the 1-0. And fouled back by Artis. A lot of folks left over and waiting for fireworks after this game is over.
It's Michael Brewer throwing out there, Michael.
Well, the Aces did use 4 relievers yesterday, but each one of them threw only the 1 inning. This might be 2. Grabbed by Dale. Tough throw to first, and it's in time. That's exactly what Mitch Ellis needed. And what a play from Jared Dale to turn the second Aces double play tonight. And one of the biggest of the season.
Huge.
Great footwork, off-balance throw, the stretch from Bird. And 2 birds with 1 stone, no pun intended.
Yeah, I wasn't sure that turn was an awkward sort of off-balance throw that had to be made, but he made it.
First pitch fouled straight back. Well, we talked to Robbie Glendening about his partnership with Jared Dale last week. And you remember there was that play where he kind of shoveled it, and it didn't look like Robbie was anticipating that. And he had said, you know, you just got to get on the same page with your middle infield duo. And he figured on a play like that, just take it himself, right? You don't need the shovel over. And I wonder if that conversation leads to a play like that where Jared Dale remembers that and he says, you know what? I can take this myself. It probably gives us a best chance to turn 2 with the speed of DJ Artis. And that's where you see situations like what we saw a couple of weeks ago turn into a learning experience and growth down the line, because that was very well turned by Jared Dale. Now the 1-2. It's in the dirt. And of course, Robbie wasn't pinning that on Dale. He was simply just saying.
No, that's right.
We asked him, was it a communication thing? And he said, yeah, I just thought he was going to take it himself. And that time he did, and it worked to perfection.
Oh,
this time it's up and in. And as relieved as all of us were at the 4-3 double play, nobody more relieved than that man on the mound, Mitch Ellis.
Absolutely.
Here's another look. A little chin music.
Close shave.
And that outside to Campbell. So a single and a walk allowed for Ellis in his return. Trying to keep the Aces out in front in a 3-2 game. And here's Solomon McGuire, left-handed batter with 3 strikeouts tonight.
Yeah, he's had a rough night.
And a rip, base hit down the line to the base of the wall. All eyes on Campbell, rounding third, and a stop sign put up. Good work by Kerrigan and Wright to get that back in quickly enough. Campbell, a big body, doesn't move all that well. And he was held at third, but a double for Solomon McGuire. And now a base hit could give Sydney a lead with a couple in scoring position.
Now, you're right. Good play by Kerrigan. He gets a very good bounce off the wall right back to him. And you're right. If it were anyone more fleet of foot than Campbell, I think potentially could have scored on that, or it would have been a close play at home.
So McGuire's 3rd hit of the series. Again, he's been hot outside of the 3 strikeouts tonight. Came in 5 for his last 7. So by my count, make it 6 for 11. And Peter Moylan out of the first base dugout. Little pep talk to try and get Mitch Ellis through the rest of this inning. He's got to face Joe DeLuca with a pair in scoring position, 3-2 here in the 7th. Michael Brewer continues to warm. Zach Shepard looming on deck, but right now it's all about the man standing in. Switch hitter batting left. And DeLuca 0 for 2 in this game. And a first pitch fastball high. DeLuca 0 for his last 13. Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball inside. Well done by Edwards to shift over. 2 balls and no strikes. Big crowd here tonight.
A little nervous here.
A lot of tension.
Indeed.
Infield shading DeLuca to pull. Well, outside, this gets to the backstop, rolls up the net, and a wild pitch. Scores Campbell to tie the game at 3. So the Blue Sox have scored the last 2 runs of this game. 1 in the 5th, now 1 in the 7th. And that actually rolled all the way up the net and stayed on the netting, so it was a dead ball. Meanwhile, McGuire at 3rd. And it's a 3-ball, no strike count to DeLuca. And this misses high for ball 4. We'll see if that's the end of the line for Ellis, and indeed it is. So John Diebel makes the walk. Good to see Mitch back out there. Always tough. Your first real action coming back from such a devastating injury. But he does give up a run. Faces 5 batters, 4 of those reach. And here comes Michael Brewer with the tying run, or beg your pardon, the tying run having scored. It's 3-3. And the go-ahead run standing 90 feet away. They're on the corners, 2 outs, and another punt, 1-2-3 pitching change.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today.
Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
Light and Easy have been named Best Healthy Meal Delivery Service again, but you won't find us stopping to celebrate. We're busy making it easy for Aussies to achieve their well-being goals, and the results speak for themselves. Light and Easy, just good food and great results.
Punt 1-2-3 pitching change, and Michael Brewer is on for the Aces. Second consecutive night for the Ranger farmhand. Pitched a scoreless 8th in last night's 4-0 victory. And we're all tied up at 3. A wild pitch scoring Clayton Campbell with 2 outs here in the 7th. And he takes over for Mitch Ellis. This the pitch that got away. Edwards did what he could, but it rolled up the netting, stayed put on top of the netting, and so a run scores. McGuire now at 3rd. DeLuca walked, and they're on the corners with 2 outs as Zach Shepard steps to the plate. Big crowd here on this Friday night at Melbourne Ballpark. Here's an Aces hat, a Mariners hat, a Yankees hat, of course. All kinds of different teams and leagues and countries represented by the folks who come out. Cardinals hat, not gentlemen.
All right, big moment here for Brewer. Get out of this inning with the score tied at 3.
Here's the pitch. And a fastball called strike 1. Good one there from Brewer. And Michael Brewer has been very good this season. No record, a 2.13 ERA, 12 2/3 with 5 walks, 14 strikeouts. First time inheriting runners this season. 0-1. Called strike 2, but the Melbourne bullpen has been great with runners inherited tonight. 3 inherited by Rutsky, stranded all 3. James inherited a pair, and he stranded both. Brewer trying to do the same and get through the rest of this 7th inning. Ahead 2 strikes on Zach Shepard. And a fly ball hit to right. Kerrigan back on it. Looks like he has room. Makes the catch, and the inning is over.
Woo.
But a run does score. 2 hits, no errors, 2 left, and we stretch here in Altona, tied at 3.
One Love is there for the moments with the people you love the most. To share the highs and the lows together. It's the one for all people, all times, and all places. Brick Lane's One Love Pale Ale. It's the one for all.
Well, we're tied at 3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Michael Dixon along with Ed Wyatt. The rest have gone back and forth in this game. And the left-hander, Matthew Ray, back out there. He has given the Blue Sox an inning and a third scoreless thus far. And got around the situation in the 6th with 2 on, nobody out. Double play ball and a strikeout into the frame. And it is 7, 8, 9 coming through. Burke, Edwards, and Bannister. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Blue Sox. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Aces. First pitch, strike 1 on the outside corner. Burke is 0 for 1 with a walk in the game. He's also been caught stealing. Aces have been caught twice on the base paths in this game. And a flare, left center field, tough play. Artis coming on with a dive, and Aruli makes the catch. Wow.
That's a super play.
Burke has a base hit taken away. Artis with a big smile on his face. And after the full extension dive, he goes straight into the barrel roll.
Next up for your
Lost the hat in the process, but I'm sure he'll trade that for the 1 out.
Like the casual flip of the ball. That's but yeah, here you go.
A little bit of sass in that catch, huh? First pitch high to Mitch Edwards for ball 1.
Super play.
Edwards in the game is 0 for 2. Hit his first Aces home run last weekend against Adelaide. Became the first player in ABL history with a home run for 4 separate teams. That here 2-0. Haven't really been around Mitch a whole lot, but he just looks like the kind of kid who doesn't really say anything. He just has that look, right?
Yeah, I don't know him very well either, I must admit.
Now 2-1 to him. Tied at 3 at the bottom of the 7th. Tight game between these two. And Ray misses outside 3-1.
Well, he's done a decent job, you know, but you look at him, he kind of looks like a guy from a baseball movie. Doesn't he? Like a TV movie of the week. 36-year-old guy makes it to the pros.
He just keeps coming back.
He's pitching really well.
His 11th year in Sydney. And drops in a changeup for a called strike number 2.
He's done a really good job.
It's the hair that does it for me,
it is,
man.
I mean,
that is,
yeah, it's great.
That is silver hair.
Yeah.
Here's the payoff. Outside ball 4, and the Aces have the go-ahead runner at first with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Second walk given up by Matthew Ray. Brings up Zion, bottom of the order, home run and a walk.
Next up for your nominations, Zion Bannister.
Well, Shepard plays in at third. Take the bunt away from Zion. 3-3 our score here in the bottom of the 7th. The Aces trying to regain the lead. First pitch called a strike, throw down. And Mitch Edwards just back safely. 3 home runs for Bannister. 2 of those have come against Sydney. 1 earlier tonight. Count evens 2 and 1 and 1. Melbourne 5-0 against Sydney this season. Talked yesterday about how well the month of January has treated the Aces over the last handful of seasons. There's a nice pitch, change up that Zion couldn't help himself on, and it's 1-2. Zion, a switch hitter, hit his home run off of the righty Atkinson, so batting left. A couple of home runs tonight for Melbourne. And the check swing roller, Zion stays alive. One and 2. Here's the pitch. A little bit high. Hendry tried to frame it. Aaron Whitefield on deck. Sydney 1 in the first, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the seventh. The Aces 2 in the second, 1 in the third. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Went off speed and got Zion once again. So Bannister retired for the first time tonight. Now with 2 outs, Edwards at first. Here comes Aaron Whitefield.
Yeah, Tony Harris would be pleased with what he's got out of Matthew Ray to this point.
Oh, he's
no
been
doubt about it.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Filled up the strike zone. Has issued a couple of walks, but 3 strikeouts for the veteran left-hander. He's pitched a lot in this league. Again, closing in on 200 career ABL innings. Whitey 1 for 3. Go ahead and run it first. Swing and a miss. Got Whitefield out in front of the ball in the dirt, and it's 1-2. How about this? Whitefield against Ray in his career, 5 for 5.
Is that right?
He is a perfect 5 for 5 against Ray.
Wow.
And he got him for the first time.
5 for 6.
So back-to-back strikeouts after the 1-out walk. And Edwards stranded at first. We go to the 8th side at 3.
Light and Easy have been named Best Healthy Meal Delivery Service again, but you won't find us stopping to celebrate. We're busy making it easy for Aussies to achieve their well-being goals, and the results speak for themselves. Light and Easy, just good food and great results.
Is Cam Gibbons.
Cam Gibbons on the mound for Melbourne takes over in the top of the 8th inning, and a game tied at 3. So a punt 1-2-3 pitching change. He'll face Hendry, Robson, and Jarvis. And Gibbons, the 5th reliever out for John Diebel tonight. So John Diebel relying heavily on his bullpen. So look at Jacob Robson due up second in this inning. And Ed, we're getting to that time of year where we're closing in on the end of the regular season, looking forward already to 2024, 25, but still, great time to take advantage of an Aces membership. You can select your seat for all Aces home games, enjoy perks like merchandise, car park passes, and more. Memberships start for kids as low as $20 for the year. For more information, visit melbourneaces.com.au/memberships.
Well, here's hard throwing Cameron Gibbons at his best. Basically unhittable. Has had a few control issues at times, but can absolutely shut you down, which is what John Diebel and the Aces staff want him to do right here.
Yeah, you got some big hitters coming through for Melbourne in the bottom of the 8th. Hoping to get there tied at 3. First pitch, high strike number 1 to Wyatt Hendry. 0 for 3 from the 9 spot. He's bounced into a double play and flied out a couple of times. And strike 2 from Cameron Gibbons.
Hendry's looks around. Haven't gotten that call all night. Why did I get it there? Outside corner.
Especially the catcher, too. I mean, he knows where the zone is tonight.
That's a very good point.
Time he offered but did not go. The pitch is high. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Sydney. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Melbourne.
Good.
And that's
pitch.
a call, 3rd strike.
Wow. Wow.
As easy as you please from Cam Gibbons. Sits down Wyatt Hendry. Was in some trouble. He was going back and forth with the home plate umpires. Get one more look at this pitch. Breaking ball over the inside corner. And Hendry clearly didn't like it.
I think he may have been yapping about the one before. Personally, that is a great pitch. I don't see how you can argue that one. The one before, I would argue, has not been given for most of the night.
First pitch high. Robson has been a pest not just tonight, but the entire series. 1 for 2 with 2 walks last night. 2 for 3 with a walk and a couple of runs scored tonight. And ahead 2-0. And a ground ball past the mound. Glendinning to his left. Couldn't quite get there. It was going to be hard regardless. The speed that Robson has. He's got another hit. 3 of those. So the flip-flop of Robson and Jarvis has paid off. Each now with 3 hits. Robson 3 for 4 with a walk. A couple of runs scored. He hit second last night. Now leadoff tonight. Jarvis, the leadoff hitter last night, batting second tonight, is 3 for 4. And here he is. So the go-ahead run with great speed at first base. Would not at all be surprised to see Robson take off already with a stolen base tonight. Swing and a miss on an elevated fastball. 0-1. Here to Jarvis.
Need to talk to Tony Harris about that tomorrow. I'll try and track him down because it's been a masterstroke. Just a simple shift of a couple of players. It's really paid dividends.
Here's the 0-1. Fastball called a strike.
Another good pitch.
That's what you want to do, jump ahead. Middle innings got bogged down with 3-ball counts and walks. 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out, 3-3 in the top of the 8th. Middle infield, a double play depth. There goes Robson. Got a great jump pitch thrown outside. So it's a stolen base for Robson. I think he would have been there regardless. Second stolen base tonight. And a go-ahead run now in scoring position.
Yeah, he's had a heck of a night, Robson. A couple of hits, scored a couple of runs. 3 hits, in fact. 2 stolen bases. That's a night out.
So now 1-2 to Jarvis. Go-ahead run in scoring position. A base hit. could give Sydney the lead here in the 8th inning. Here's the pitch. Popped him up. Jarvis came in hitting just 173 away from Blacktown International Sports Park there in Sydney. Tonight, 3 for 4 with 3 singles. We're tied at 3 here in the 8th inning. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball on the outside corner. And Jarvis could not help himself. That's a huge strikeout for Cam Gibbons.
Sure is.
2 down here in the 8th inning, and here comes Justin Wiley.
Get a look at it here, Michael. Jarvis ready. Gibbons checks the runner, delivers.
It's an outstanding fastball.
Yeah, sure is.
You have to swing.
Yep.
First offering to Wiley, and he drops in a breaking ball. Strike 1 on the inside corner.
Beautiful.
Wiley 1 for 3 with a single, a sacrifice fly. He's got 14 RBIs in his first 8 games with Sydney. Base hit could add another to that tally and give Sydney the lead. Oh, 1. Fastball low and outside. DJ Artis looming on deck. For the Aces in the bottom of the 8th, George, Glendenning, Kerrigan. So
beat me
big
to
names
it.
are coming
just
through.
Just looking at that. Yeah, indeed they are. And then if any of them get on, Greg Bird.
Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball high. Got a tough batter on deck and DJ Artis as well. And the Blue Sox do have a right-hander warming, so I believe the end of the line is here for Matthew Ray, who has been outstanding in long relief for Sydney tonight. 2 2/3 scoreless. 2-1 the count. And here is the pitch. That's a high fastball taken for ball 3. Wiley has reached in each of his first 9 games. So I beg your pardon, that's 14 RBIs in 9 games, not 8. A 9-game on-base streak to start his Sydney career. 3-1 here. And a breaking ball called, strike number 2.
Very good pitch.
Wiley nods his head. And a big one upcoming, 3-2 with 2 outs. Great speed with Robson at second. Gibbons looks in, he's ready. Here is the payout pitch. Check swing, appeal down. He did not go, and it's ball 4. So walk to Wiley. He wanted to swing, but kept himself from going through. We get another look. And a good call, nowhere close. Didn't look like it in real time either.
No.
So 2 on, 2 out. Here's a visit with Edwards and Gibbons.
As an Aces fan, you're hoping he went around, but good call. Didn't. There's the party deck. Little nerves there. People watching a very tight game here. 3-3. Top of the 8th. Sydney with runners on first and second. 2 outs.
Join a little Weezer over the PA. Artis has had a good night. 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. Here's the first pitch. Strike 1. Fastball over the inside corner.
Want to shut this down right now, Michael. End this thing.
3-3 in the top of the 8th inning. Go ahead run at second base. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Went after a high fastball, and it's 0-2. Cam Gibbons trying to shut the door and get the Aces to the plate in the bottom of the 8th. 0-2 with 2 outs. Couple of runners on base in a tie game, 3-3. Here's the 0-2. Out back.
Oh, right into the stands. Did he catch
Time
that?
went to the breaking ball.
He grabbed that. He did. Gentleman in the blue.
This is Souvenir.
Sign him up.
Looks kind of lonely. We'll sit by him, Ed. Give him some company. We'll give you the roving mic.
Yeah.
We'll do it again here, 0-2. And we'll do it once more. Hardison RBI single in the first, his second RBI in a Sydney uniform. He's got hits in 9 of his first 10, including the single tonight. Robson at second, Wiley at first. 2 outs, 3-3. Our score in the top of the 8th. Great crowd. They've been into it all night long. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball rolled right side, tough play. Bird charging, trying to win the foot race, and he does. Whew. We've had some close calls over there at first, but that one pretty clearly won by Greg Bird, and the inning comes to an end. Good job by Cam Gibbons. Strands a couple, and we go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 3.
At the Sporting Globe, we're a little different to other pubs and bars. We have more than just cooks, we have chefs. We have more than bar service, we have table service. We have more than specials, we have specialties. We have more than live sporting events, we have atmosphere. And we have more than customers, we have fans. It's more than a sports bar, it's a Sporting Globe.
There's an unseen thread woven into the fabric of all Australian homes. It's our way of life. Sun-kissed days, afternoon storms, and memories shared with those we love. It's messy, but you bet we make it work. In the end, it's the simple things that make an Australian home home. And what did the trick then? It still does the job now.
Hills, Australia's trusted clothesline since 1945.
Thanks to the Melbourne Aces dance crew.
Well, a good crowd here tonight, 1,554 in attendance. You had another successful Friday here at Melbourne Ballpark. And they've been into it all night long. They've been dialed in from the outset, and it's been a lot of fun. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, tied at 3. New Era Technology provides specialized IT solutions for your business with internet and voice. As secure cloud hosting for data and software trusted by the Aces, New Era has an extensive team of engineers and sales professionals who provide hands-on collaboration that is backed by deep industry training. New Era Technology, proud supporters of the Melbourne Aces. Not only New Era, but all these folks proud supporters of the Aces as well. And 1,554 in the ballpark to see it. And I feel like just sound like a broken record talking about the crowds we've seen all year long, but each and every night it feels like the crowds have been good. The people have been involved in somehow, some way. A Washington State University Cougars shirt made it
How
in.
about that? Cougs making it. We do have another punt 1-2-3 pitching change. Looks like Kazumi Masuko, Japanese right-hander, 24-year-old, first season in the ABL.
Yeah, there's not much on there, out there on him at all. 4 relief outings, 4 innings, 2 hits, no runs, walked 2, struck out 4. So he takes over for Ray, who was marvelous tonight.
Sure was.
2 2/3, 1 hit, walked 2, struck out 4. But when the Blue Sox needed him most, he delivered. Darryl George leads off. All 3 home runs for Melbourne have come via the long ball tonight. A couple of homers for Bird, or a couple of runs on a home run from Bird in the second. Solo homer from Banny in the third. Ground ball to short, and Jarvis. No issues whatsoever, 1 away in the 8th. That'll bring up Robbie Glendening. Yeah, I was trying to find anything I could on Kazumi Masuko and Umi Asada, who we saw yesterday, but just nothing out there on him. The only record in professional baseball that both pitchers have on Baseball Reference is here in Sydney. That's it. First pitch to Glendening, sliced foul the other way. Robbie in the game is 1 for 2 with a single and a walk, tied at 3 here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the 0-1. Just outside. Game on base streak for Glendenning as he faces the right-hander Kazumi Masuko. And now he's in a hitter's count, 2-1. Jimmy Kerrigan looming on deck. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Blue Sox, who have stranded 13 runners.
Unbelievable.
Through 8 innings tonight. 13. 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Meanwhile, the Aces, 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position, and just 4 left on base tonight. Keep in mind, again, the Aces enter play tonight with the fewest men left on base in the ABL. 2-2 here to Robbie. And he looks at a pitch high, ball 3. That walk in the 3rd inning, his league-leading 24th. Nobody else is really close. Aces look on, Robbie Glendenning. Trying to ignite a rally with this game tied at 3. The bottom of the 8th inning. Masuko looks in. And a payoff pitch. Fly ball high out towards right center. McGuire back onto the track, still going at the wall, reaches up, and he makes the catch. I don't know if he robbed a home run. It was close, but that just kept going and going. And Glendenning saying, how in the world?
Hard for us to tell where we are with the lighting out there. We might get a look at it on the replay, Michael. You're right. It looked like it was under control. It was hit so high, but it did just keep going and going. There's a good look. If he didn't rob a home run, he took it off the top of the fence. Heck of a play. Heartbreaker for Glendenning.
First pitch to Kerrigan, sliced foul.
Really?
Yeah, if he didn't rob a home run, he robbed the Aces of Glendenning at second with 1 out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was going to leave the yard, and McGuire and Robson might be the only 2 who can tell you confidently one way or the other. Perhaps the Aces bullpen as well. But man, that was close, and a ball that just kept going and going. That wind has died down a little bit. It was pretty heavy there for a few innings.
Wow.
Kerrigan 1 for 2 with a double, a walk, and a run scored. And the game tied at 3. That could be a humongous moment.
Sure could. One to make note of.
Boy, Cam Gibbons looks worried.
It's one of those you got to look at and go, are you kidding me?
Ground ball off the mound towards second. Diving stop from Wiley, but he can only knock it down. Jimmy Kerrigan stays hot, and I would put him in motion right here. Greg Bird stepping 2. You've got a guy with good speed and a base hit up the middle. Off the mound underneath Masuko. Even if Wiley had gotten to that and fielded cleanly, I don't think there's any way to get the out at first.
Agreed.
Kerrigan and Wiley know each other pretty well, haven't played in the same U.S. Summer League, the American Association, last year. So 2 outs, the man at first. Now a fastball high to Bird.
I like Kerrigan. He's a ball player. He's just a ball player. I just like the way he goes about it.
A little bit low.
Not that matters to him, by the way. I'm just saying I personally like the way he plays. He's been a great addition.
Just kind of quietly goes about his business,
exactly.
It seems like, too. He's
very
gamer.
Focused in the batting practice. Very focused.
Oh, a 2-run home run from Bird in the second. 2-0. Swing and a miss. Went after an elevated fastball.
Did.
That was his 8th home run, RBIs 30 and 31, and he leads the league in both categories.
It's a gutsy effort from Sydney tonight, Michael.
They're pretty much playing with the season on the line here these next 3 days.
You're right.
2-1. Round ball, that's going to bleed its way up the middle past Wiley. Kerrigan on his way to third, and he is there standing safely.
That looked like it was in slow motion.
It really did, and that's a rare slow roller for Greg Bird, who's had so many loud hits this season, but They're on the corners. The go-ahead run 90 feet away for Jared Dale. Tied at 3 here in the bottom of the 8th.
Just crept through there.
Well, Dale is 0 for 3, but has a chance to be the hero here tonight. 2 outs, they're on the corners. 3-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Dale with 5 multi-hit games in his last 7 coming in, so he's been scorching hot. Swinging a line drive up the middle, that's into center field, and the Aces take the lead. A 2-out rally and a 2-out RBI single. Jared Dale delivers, and it's 4-3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Look at that dugout. Look at the scenes. That's got the Aces up and about. Smiles everywhere. Jared Dale. How about that? Delivers a key hit.
9th RBI, and none bigger than that one. The Aces have a 4-3 lead. They are 3 outs away. And here's Chris Burke. First pitch swing and slices it foul. You and I have asked what John Diebel does in a save situation with no Kaede Yokoyama.
That's right.
It's the left-hander John Kennedy
I
up
thought
in
it
Norman.
might be. Yep, I thought it might be John Kennedy.
So unless the Aces detonate the rest of this inning and take a big-time lead, it'll be Kennedy in a save spot in the top of the 9th. Assuming so, of course. There he is warming up. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Chris Burke. 0 for 2 with a walk in the game. 4-3 the Aces on top. Jared Dale with the biggest hit of the season thus far. An RBI single with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. And that has given the Aces a lead once again. And now, after allowing his first run of the year, Masuko trying to limit it to just 1. Here's the pitch. Fastball called a strike. And
wow.
It does feel like the zone's gotten a little wider as the game has progressed.
Last couple innings.
Wasn't an argument from Burke, but I don't think he loved that call. Here's the set. And the 1-2. Ground ball. That's a base hit into right field. Bird up to third, he gets the wave. Throw coming home, it rolls home, he's safe. Back-to-back 2-run singles. And Chris Burke has made it 5-3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Gonna look at it again. Bird just reaches down, pops that into right field. Not much of a throw from McGuire, if I'm honest.
That kind of rolled its way home.
Yeah, I'm not sure what got him, but
of course, meant 2-out singles, not 2-run, but still, nonetheless, the situation remains the same. The Aces have come through. Sydney with so many opportunities over the last few innings to not just tie things up, but perhaps take the lead. The Aces fight them off, and Masuko runs into some trouble here in the bottom of the 8th. Jared Dale with an RBI single, Chris Burke an RBI single, and all of a sudden it is 5-3, and the Aces have a 2-run lead here in the 8th inning.
Kind of the way things are going for Sydney, isn't it? They have all those runners left on base. Masuko comes in, gets the first 2 relatively easily, although that 1 hit was very, very deep, caught at the fence by McGuire, and then 4 consecutive hits. So just like that, the Aces have 9 hits after Masuko gives up 4 here.
No runs allowed. His first 4 outings, he's given up a couple tonight. Let's see if the Aces can add on. Here's Mitch Edwards, 0 for 2 with a walk. 5-3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Back-to-back 2-out singles from Dale and Burke. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Well, in the 9th inning, assuming we see John Kennedy, it'll be Campbell, McGuire, and DeLuca.
There is Kennedy.
And the left-hander continues to warm. He has had an outstanding season. And all of this coming with 2 outs in the inning. Here's the 0-2. And that skips in. Good block by Hendry. George had the ground out. Glendinning had the fly ball to the yellow line if it was over, or if it was just off the top of the wall in right field. We may never know. But then Kerrigan singles, Bird singles. Keeps the inning alive for Jared Dale, who comes through. And then Chris Burke delivers. A run of insurance, and the Aces once again up by 2. And this slice the other way to left. Artis coming in. That's down for a base hit. Make it 3 straight 2-out RBI singles. Dale, Burke, now Edwards. And the Aces have a 6-3 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Wow. Runs just cascading down in this inning.
5 consecutive 2-out singles for Melbourne.
It's amazing. It really is. Pretty remarkable. I don't know if I've seen anything like this, I'll be honest with you.
Bannister's had a good night. Having fun in the dugout. Outside ball 1 to Banny. Solo home run in the 3rd, a walk in the 5th, strikeout in the 7th. 6-3 our score. The Aces with a crooked 3 here in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. And a breaking ball gets away just long enough for Chris Burke and Mitch Edwards to advance. So, a wild pitch advances both runners 90 feet. Zion Bannister with a base hit can detonate this game. It's a 6-3 Aces lead, and this won't count as a mound visit, just some sort of issue, I think, for Masuko. Of course, you can't really have a mound visit here. They've already talked to him.
I think
some sort of...
It's something with the catcher, I think, because I think that maybe it's the physio out there with the
towel?
Yeah, because there's something wrong with the catcher, quote unquote. And that, of course, the translator out there as well. So just think back to an inning, how tense it was.
Yep.
Now it's kind of high fives and smiles and celebrations all around.
Well, the Aces had 5 hits coming into this inning. They have 5 hits with 2 outs in the 8th.
Exactly.
6-3. And Zion Bannister can add on for even more.
Be disappointed if he didn't.
He's had some big late inning hits against Sydney. And he takes low. Remember when I said that, see what John Deville does in a save situation unless.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that unless. Here's another look at the ball that got away.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. If Bannister came through in a situation like this, you would almost, I think, consider putting Gibbons back out there for the 9th so you don't have to burn
Kennedy. Yep.
Because John pitched in last night's game.
Did.
Got the final 3 outs in that 9th inning. Now I have no idea what conversation Gibbons and the staff had, but that's if Bannister comes through. Instead, he swings and misses, but the damage already done, and a resounding cheer from those here at Melbourne Ballpark. They salute the Aces with the best 2-out rally of the season. 2 outs, nobody on, and they come through with 3 runs on 5 hits and take a 6-3 lead to the 9th. John Kennedy coming in for the save opportunity.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today.
Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
At U Blinds Australia, it's our great low prices that make the difference. In our end of summer Aloha clearance sale, save from 30% up to 50% off our range of blinds, shutters and awnings. U Blinds Australia, more value for you.
Welcome back to Melbourne Ballpark. What a wacky inning. The Aces get 5 hits and 3 runs and blow open a very tight 3-3 game. And they've got a 6-3 lead here in the top of the 9th inning. And we do have another punt, 1-2-3 pitching change. We'll get to that in a second. Here is that hit from Jared Dale. It started things off. And then the Aces some high-fiving in the dugout. Chris Burke. It's another run scoring single. Greg Bird chugging around third. Slides in safely. And there is Kazumi Masuko, who really struggles. That ball dropped in front of DJ Artis from Mitch Edwards for another run. And the high fives and the celebrations continue. Fans really energized again. And they will see John Kennedy come on and try and close this thing out. The big lefty is out on the mound. 7th pitcher tonight for the Melbourne Aces. It's been very much a bullpen, not by committee, by what? By what's bigger than a committee? By organization.
I'm not sure.
7 pitchers. And Kennedy will face Clayton Campbell, Solomon McGuire, and Joe DeLuca.
I have run out of space in my scorebook, so I sure am hoping this is the end. Because I got nowhere else to put another Aces pitcher.
That's a lot of pitchers.
Clayton Campbell leads off. John Kennedy in search of the save. Big lefty has been superb this season. 1-1 with a .49 ERA. 18 1/3, 8 walks, 21 strikeouts. Ground ball left side, tough play. And that squeaks through the left side of the infield. Looks like George Khalil, for the second consecutive night, has come in a defensive substitution. He is at third. Darryl George out of the ballgame. So Khalil at third. Glendening still at short. That's a single for Campbell, who's had a nice series. 2 walks and a single here tonight. 1 on and nobody out for McGuire. This pitch nearly hits him.
I'd call that half defensive, half let's give Georgie a rest.
That's a soft pop-up. Should be playable and is in foul ground, out number 1.
That's a big out.
It really is. McGuire is now 1 for 4 here tonight. Yeah, that brings up Joe DeLuca with another look at this. No trouble in the end at all for Greg Bird. Pitching on the hands.
Super easy play for the veteran first baseman. 1 away. Brings up DeLuca. So 0 for 2 tonight with a couple of walks.
2 outs away, and Kennedy looking for that first save. Ground ball towards third, and foul.
It's a good pitch, DeLuca getting onto it though.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
All of a sudden, both teams have double-digit hits in this game. The Aces with 10, the Blue Sox with 10. Of course, 5 of those 10 for Melbourne came with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and that's why John Kennedy's out here looking for the save. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Good pitch. Yeah, you're right. 5 hits in an inning.
Kennedy trying to become the 3rd different Aces pitcher with a save this season. Again, they haven't really played a ton of these tight games. That's one of the reasons why a game over 500, they still have the 2nd best run differential in the league at +31. Games that the Aces have one, for the most part, have been fairly comfortable. Fly ball in the air right field.
That's hit well.
Kerrigan back, turns around. This is back there, and it's gone.
Wow.
DeLuca, all of a sudden, with one big swing, has made this a one-run game, and how important were those insurance runs for Melbourne in the bottom of the 8th.
You are not kidding. That's a big hit from DeLuca, who hasn't really shown that sort of power in any of the first couple of games we've seen. But he popped that. You could just see Kerrigan turned and knew that was gone.
So hold on here. 6-5. Still 2 outs to get. Shepard takes outside for ball 1.
The only good news, I suppose, is you got the 8 and 9 hitters who have 4 strikeouts between them. And neither of the two have gotten on base. Actually, Shepard did get on base on the dropped third strike.
That's the first home run allowed by Kennedy. Only the second and third runs he's allowed this season. Again, it's hard to ask your relievers to be perfect. And outside ball 3.
Well, that just sort of came out of nowhere, didn't it? DeLuca, a couple of walks, a strikeout, and a flyout. Just popped that over the right field fence.
And called strike 1 on the outer half to Shepard.
That's a big call there, big strike.
6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Aces. 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Blue Sox. What a game this has been.
Crazy.
And outside, the tying run on base.
Let's hope you don't have to go to another line on your scorebook.
I mean, at this point, you've used...
Yeah. Wow.
Everybody except for Joey Steele and Jack Enciando. Steele pitched yesterday. Enciando did not. That is Enciando, who is warming up his legs. Joey Steele sitting down. First pitch outside to Wyatt Hendry. Middle infield, trying to turn 2 to end the game.
Yeah, he hit into a double play in the second inning. This would be a good time if you're an Aces fan to see it again.
Runs with catcher's legs, and this hits him.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Well, he quickly gets up to his feet, which is a good sign, but now the tying run in scoring position, and this 9th inning has gotten away from the Aces.
The way this game has gone, Michael, this inning doesn't surprise me. It's been a crazy game. Hits him on the knee.
Yep.
That's tough. That hurts.
Peter Moylan out of the first base dugout to try and coach John Kennedy for the rest of the game.
Look who's up. Jacob Robson. 3-hit night.
And a nearly impossible guy to turn 2 against. It's not impossible, but pretty close to. Nearly impossible with a sharp ground ball right to an infielder. You might have a chance, but Robson's speed is ridiculous. You said it, 3 hits, a walk, 2 runs scored, a couple of stolen bases. A base hit can tie the game. And we have seen a lot here tonight. 3-3 entering the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 6-5 with 1 out here in the 9th. The Aces 2 outs away from a huge win. But again, the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to short. Glendenning's got it. Flip to second for 1. Throw to first, not in time. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Nearly impossible to turn 2. So the tying run 90 feet away. Robson shaking his head. Shepard at third. Hendry forced out at second. And Robson is at first on the fielder's choice. Retired for only the 2nd time here tonight. And just look at his speed. I mean, it's not like it's a sharp ground ball, but for just about anybody other than Jacob Robson, there was enough time to turn 2 there. And the Aces didn't have a chance. So now it's up to Jarvis. First pitch, strike 1 on the outside corner.
Good pitch. Kennedy's fought back here after putting the 8 and 9 hitters on with a walk and then hitting Hendry. But he's fighting back here against the top of the order.
Six to 5 here in the ninth inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runners on the corners. Tying run 90 feet away.
Oh.
Inside, good work by Edwards, shifting to his left. Edwards has had some tough plays to make behind the plate tonight, and just seems like he gets better and better.
He does.
Justin Wiley on deck.
Buckle up, folks.
This is why you come to the ballpark.
It sure is.
2-1. Here's the pitch. Called strike 2, and the Aces are 1 strike away.
Great pitch. Here we go. Crowd getting into it now.
2-run home run from DeLuca has made this a 1-run game. That tying run 90 feet away. Jacob Robson, great speed at first. 6 to 5 here in the top of the ninth. 2-2 the count. And foul tip. Boy, just stays alive.
Sure did.
How about the drama in Altona tonight? 2-2, the Aces 1 strike away. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball left side, grabbed by Khalil, a throw across, and it's in time. The ball game is over. What an ending to this one tonight. The Aces hang on and win it by a final score of 6 to 5. And it doesn't get much better than that. 3 in the bottom of the 8th. 2 from Sydney in the top of the 9th, and Ed, we went down to the last bat of the last pitch, but the Aces come through. John Kennedy with the save, the fireworks shoot off, but most importantly, a win is a win is a win, and the Aces have taken the first 2 games of this series.
That was a crazy, crazy game. I felt like it had sort of ups and downs. It was fast, it was slow, it was dramatic, it was ho-hum, it just like had every sort of emotion. Look, if you're a Blue Sox fan, it's a heartbreaking loss. The team showed incredible courage, battling back, staying in the game. A 2-run shot in the top of the 9th by DeLuca really put the pressure on, and then Kennedy walks Shepard, hits Hendry. Just a little bit of everything. Here are the highlights, Michael, as we have a look early. That's Artis in the first inning.
That was a great start for Sydney.
Sure was, giving him that.
Took a 1-0 lead on the big leaguer Randy Wynn. And here's another look on that line drive from Artis. But then this is one of those big Greg Bird swings. 2-run home run in the bottom of the 2nd. And just like that, you felt like the Aces were all right. Greg Bird, his league-leading 8th home run, RBIs 30 and 31. And the Aces took a 2-1 lead. One of 2 home runs that the Aces hit tonight. But Greg Bird, man, when he hits them, he hits them. And he has a big league home run trot, too.
He does. Everything about him says big league. Just love that swing. You can watch him swing that bat all day.
And that power, it's so effortless for Greg Bird. And, yeah, we've seen that a time or two, him crossing home plate.
Hard to clap with that
Congratulations from
oven
teammates. Well, you're just not a fan of the oven mitt. And not long after that, it was Zion Bannister with a solo home run that made it 3-1.
Bounced off that pole out there, too, that flag pole. Here's a low angle look at that shot from Zion. Look at that. Bang. And as I said, very, very happy for him.
We talk a lot about the home runs that Greg Bird hits and how impressive they are, but when Zion gets into one, you can see that power.
Yeah, absolutely.
That one went 358, 370 for Bird. But the Blue Sox weren't done. An offense that has struggled this year. This was a sacrifice fly from Justin Wiley in the 5th.
Yep.
And Sydney quietly, at that point, down by just the 1 run. That made it 3-2. And Wiley, he's hit a lot of home runs, hit for a lot of power this season. Also driven in quite a few runs already. That made it 3-2. And that's a nice pitch there from Evan Rutsky. Big moment with the bases loaded in that 5th inning. Base running miscue. This was a confusing play. They ultimately called Whitefield out and Bannister safe, even though Bannister was a little fortunate that he ran to third after occupying second as well. There's
that foul
ball.
Great shot of Zion.
War zone, it felt like. High chopper, great turn from Jared Dale. The Aces played some great defense tonight, and that turn from Dale was huge. This, a wild pitch in the 7th inning, made it 3-3. Return for Mitch Ellis, his first outing from Tommy John. And so tied at 3, we now go to the bottom of the 8th.
Here we
what
go.
we thought was the big swing. Jared Dale comes through, a go-ahead RBI single, and
we're
that
excited.
made it 4-3.
Yeah, hey.
The Aces take the lead. Now you're 3 outs away. You do need a little bit of insurance, though, it would turn out. Dale comes through, such a smooth swing. He's been so good this year, hitting north of 300, and he knew it right up the middle. First pitch swinging.
Yep.
That made it 4-3 from 43. Jimmy Kerrigan ignited that 2-out rally with a single. He's been red hot lately, and so the Aces had the 1-run advantage. But they weren't done. After that, it was Chris Burke through the right side.
Just reaches down and rips that into right.
They
Great
sent Greg
piece of
Bird.
hitting.
And on a ball that rolled home, Bird was going to be safe regardless, slides in. And so Chris Burke then made it 5-3. We're saying insurance as John Kennedy's warming up, and the Aces take a multi-run lead. But they weren't quite done. All of this coming with 2 outs.
Still,
they had
like
5 consecutive
like
2-out hits.
Late night salesman.
Yes.
We're still not finished. Wait, there's more.
Don't go anywhere.
There's more.
Masuko struggled. And this from Mitch Edwards. Nothing too special. Just tries to go the opposite way and does. Dunks that down. 3 consecutive 2-out RBI singles. Dale scores. And that swing from Ellis made it 6-3. And then we're sitting there saying, wow, the Aces, what a job done tonight.
Yeah.
We thought they were home free.
Lead.
Yeah, 6-3 going into the 9th. And what else was going to happen? Well, we were in for a road top of the 9th. John Kennedy had been lights out. 1 on, 1 out. Joe DeLuca with some power. Do you think when he hits home runs, he rounds first and then second, thinking about that high school coach in his senior season that cut him?
Yeah.
And now he's in Sydney, Australia, hitting home runs after he played AAA for the Reds last year. But
that came out of nowhere. Shocked the crowd.
And you could tell DeLuca, that made it a 1-run game. And then a couple of base runners, tying run 90 feet away. How about the play made by George Khalil, a defensive replacement in the 9th inning? That was his only involvement in the game. That's a testy play on the ground ball over to third.
Yep.
And to throw across to beat a fast runner in Jarvis and end the ball game. But so much to unpack. So much of it happened in the final couple of innings tonight. And at the end of the day, the Aces now 6-0 against Sydney.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you get the win. It doesn't matter how you do it. It was a real team effort tonight. You can tell by having 7 pitchers for one thing, but hits from everyone. Really, it was a total team effort. And again, if you're Sydney, you've given it an amazing shot. You've left 15 men on base.
Yeah.
15 base runners. But I guess, when you're not a great hitting team, right, that's part of it.
You're going to leave guys on base.
You're going to leave guys on base.
Yeah, absolutely.
They get 11 hits. They leave 15 guys on base. So that's a frustrating situation. You get some decent pitching. Atkinson does an okay job through 4 1/3. Matthew Ray comes on, does an unbelievable job in 2 2/3 inning. And then Masuko, hadn't given up a run, comes in, gives up 5 hits and 3 runs in 1 inning. So a crazy game. Really was a crazy game.
Just was one of those days at the ballpark, and the Aces take the first 2 games of this series. Well, final totals quickly for you. Melbourne, 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, 6 left. Sydney, 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 15 left. The winning pitcher, Cam Gibbons, 1-1. Mizuko takes the loss, 0-1. John Kennedy got his first save. 3:21, time of the game, played in in front of 1,554. The Aces 6-0 against Sydney this year, 16-14 altogether. Sydney now 10-20 on the season, and again 0-6 against the Aces. They pretty much have to win the last 2 games, and even then, you're talking about a significant uphill climb for the Blue Sox. Well, for Ed Wyatt, the rest of our Sportscast Australia crew, and Michael Dixon saying so long from Melbourne Ballpark. The Aces win at 6-5, a thriller. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night.
This broadcast is powered by Sportscast Australia.